It's time for Intelligent Machines. Our guest, CJ Trowbridge, is an expert in ethical AI. They also say it's possible to do AI that's small, effective, and doesn't involve big tech. How? Find out next on Intelligent Machines.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit. This is Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis, episode 850, recorded Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. Bagel rats. It's time for Intelligent Machines, the show where we cover the latest in AI, robotics, and all the smart stuff all around us these days. Hey, we're so glad to have Paris Martineau back from her holiday party. She was gone a whole week. Girl. What a party it must have been.
It's true. We do it like that.
She, for some reason, it says she's Mike Elgin. I think you might want to fix that, but she's not Mike Elgin. She is, ladies and gentlemen, Paris Martineau.
Mike Elgin.
There she is.
I'd rip off my own face. A man who's in a random country appears.
We have apparently multiple lower thirds just for you. This is the most currently at Consumer Reports, where she is an investigative journalist specializing in radioactive shellfish and lead in your protein powder.
It's true.
And working on something new.
I
am.
New. You'll see.
A new food issue. Paris.nyc for the tips. Also with us, Jeff Jarvis, professor of emeritus of journalistic innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. Also at Montclair State University in New Jersey and SUNY Stony Brook.
Was it a good party, Paris? Do CR people party hard?
Listen, it was a mid to late afternoon party, and I think that's delightful.
We saw your skeet about sharing gossip, celebrity gossip.
I will say, I think that's one of the best things about most of CR works remotely. We obviously have an office in Yonkers, office in Manhattan, all these great things we could go into, but it's lovely when you get a bunch of remote coworkers together in the same place. You learn a critical mass of gossip very quickly, and I think that's
it wasn't all about the Z's, it was about yourselves.
We presume you were schooling them in the Z's.
I actually don't think I brought up Olivia Nuzzi once, which is really shocking. Well, not then. Wow. I definitely did afterwards, but not at the work party. There was too much other gossip going on.
Well, let's introduce our guest, because we have a great guest, CJ Trowbridge. You've probably seen him on YouTube. He is... They, sorry, pardon me, didn't mean to misgender you. They are AI, not quite cheerleader, but reality checker would probably be the right thing. 132,000 TikTok followers, and that's where sustainability comes in. Hi, CJ. Welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us. You actually had access to GPT early.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was doing my undergrad in San Francisco at the time in urban planning, and a big focus on sustainable community development, especially by nonprofits. And I had an opportunity to become an early academic product tester at OpenAI in late 2021. So I was one of the first people who used ChatGPT before it came out, when it was called Chat with GPT-3.
No one remembers that.
Yeah.
Chat Whiz.
Yeah, and also...
Did you say Chat Whiz?
Chat Whiz. Oh, I thought it was Chat Whiz. I thought that's a good name. They should save that. Like, Jesus.
Yeah. And also the early image generation stuff that they were working on with DALL-E that later became... they actually just yesterday announced it's been rebranded yet again. It's now GPT Image.
Image, yeah.
So they went from DALL-E 1 to DALL-E 2.
They have
to
done
GPT-4
an amazing job to compete with Nano Banana, but we'll talk about that later in the show. So what was your reaction when you saw this early on?
I thought it was terrible for a lot of reasons. And I argued that it was not the product they should release, because it's really these models are trained on documents, on document completion, and so that's their natural mode, is to complete a document. And the task of sort of tricking that into being in a chat interface is very complicated, and it's led to a bunch of like other really interesting problems. But basically, like, they're better at completing documents, which is why with like agentic frameworks and stuff today, we're seeing this return to like, here's a JSON document, this part is missing, what should go there? And it's really good at that versus this like chat interface where it wasn't obvious, because back then, like, the context windows were really limited. So it may have forgotten the first half of the conversation and the user doesn't see that, so for all kinds of reasons, I felt like it was a terrible interface, but it's obviously the one that went viral. So here we are.
Shows what you know, huh, CJ?
What were, at that early stage, kind of what were your recommendations, I guess, as an early product reviewer to the team? And do you get any sort of feedback internally on these sort of things, or is it just speaking into a void?
So like one example was with Dolly. If you, at the time, it would give you 8 images for any prompt that you put in, instead of now it's just 1, right? But the idea was like, most of them are not going to be very good, so we want a lot of feedback, right? So then that became part of the training set. But at the time, there was this issue with inclusivity, and like it didn't have any awareness of the social context of the user, and so like, if you ask it to draw you a picture of an astronaut, it's going to draw 8 white guys, right? And so it's like, well, this is obviously a problem. Like, it needs to have some awareness of like who is asking the question, what is their social context. And instead they were like, that's too expensive. We're not going to retrain the whole thing from scratch. We're just going to insert the word diverse into the prompt if they're asking about a person. So instead it's going to change it invisibly to draw me a diverse astronaut. And so then you get 8 black girl astronauts. And it's like, this is even worse. Like, this is even further from understanding the social context of the user and what they're really asking for. And they're like, well, we're just going to ship it. We're already behind stable diffusion at this point. And so then, like, Google adopted the same solution, and then later you get like Thomas Jefferson is black with a Native American war bonnet on, and it's like, well, okay, now it's a problem. We have to fix it suddenly years later. But we were talking about a lot of these problems, internally back then, and they're like, we don't care. It's too expensive.
So
yeah,
I mean, you'd have to agree they have iterated. And I don't, you could iterate in private, but I think especially for products like this, it's probably better to iterate in public and take the licks at the beginning in order to get a better product in the end, and let us be the beta testers. Sustainability, though, is still an issue. And we're really starting to see now, I should explain probably that I'm a big booster. I love AI. I use it all the time. I use it somewhat guiltily because we understand that there are a number of consequences. The prices of RAM chips have doubled. Maybe that's just a temporary thing. The cost of electricity seems to be going up nationwide by orders of magnitude almost. We just saw that you can't get skilled construction workers anymore. They're all tied up building data centers. And then there's also the financial consequences, which maybe or maybe not are something to worry about, where pretty much all of our GDP in the United States has come from these magnificent 7 AI companies. That's almost all of our growth. And then there's also the potential down the road consequence, maybe we're already seeing it, of job loss to AI. I'm not a doomer, but there are also those who say, and once it gets super intelligent, say goodbye to the human race. So there are definitely a number of sustainability issues with AI. But I notice you're not one of those people who says, well, let's just not use AI.
Yeah. Well, I would say, first of all, most of these concerns, I think, are like, for example, the example of electricity consumption. All AI consumes like less than 0.5% of our electricity. All data centers consume less than 4% of our electricity. So there were a bunch of forecasts years ago when exponential growth really took off with data structure investment. And it's projecting, like 30-40% compound annual growth rate on energy consumption, on AI inference, workloads and budgets, but that didn't happen. It very quickly, those compound annual growth rate forecasts were cut by 75% or more. So like the current forecast is that we could see global data center energy consumption reaching 3% by 2030 of total energy consumption. So these are like trivial consumption levels. The reason that electrical energy prices are going up is because of a number of, like, there have been a number of executive orders preventing completed renewable production facilities from being connected to the grid and cutting funding by tens of billions. Some of the analyses that are out show it's like more than $50 billion has been cut from renewable energy projects, including continuing to operate them. So there has been a reduction. There was a recent study that found over 113 million homes worth of electricity has been cut deliberately through these efforts to end the funding for renewable energy. And also there's the impact of tariffs on maintenance costs for the grid and for the sources of energy that we already have online, and inflation at the same time too. Right. So all
these sound like political issues more than AI issues.
And deliberate. Yeah. And so those are enormous impacts. And the reality of how much energy AI is consuming is it's less than 1%. So it's just not true. I think one of the things that's been most frustrating talking about AI ethics today is that the academic context focuses primarily on things other than generative AI, because no one has ever figured out how to make money with generative AI. None of these companies is making money. And the vast majority of the AI that's actually happening in businesses is not related to generative AI. It's insurance companies, it's decisions about whether or not a particular test should be given to a patient, if it's too expensive versus like what's the value of a person's life in terms of how many unnecessary tests we're paying for. Those kinds of decisions are enormously impactful in people's lives. And there are all kinds of ethical concerns around the construction of truth, the epistemic power that we're giving to companies like OpenAI that choose to put people like Larry Summers on the board. And, the models that they're building are embodying that perspective of like these kinds of people. And is that who you want to be deciding what truth is for the world?
No.
These are, I think, the bigger issues, and it's one of the things that's been kind of frustrating is seeing, there's so much popular interest in like it's taking all the water, it's taking all the electricity. It's just not true, right? But there are also like alternatives, like these much smaller models that are performing better than the large data center models now, and they'll easily run on your cell phone on a free open source app, and you can get better results that way than you can get from these large labs, right? So I think the sustainability picture for me looks like smaller devices that run at the edge, that run on solar power. There's this really cool, like, for example, have you guys seen the WizPlay open source project?
No, what is that?
It's a Raspberry Pi inside with a screen and a little face, and you can hold the button and talk to it. It's like push to talk, like a walkie-talkie. And on the device, it will decode the text of like what you've said from the sound, and then run it through whatever LLM you want locally on the device, and then
locally on a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah, and then convert it into speech, and it'll talk back to you and say the answer, and it'll also show it on this. It's great. So this is using Qwen 3, which is one of it's at the frontier. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And this will 16 gigs of RAM. You can run up to like a 16 billion parameter model or more if you use a lower quantization. Yeah,
so that's very encouraging. Really, it sounds like, and partly this is because of people worrying about AI power consumption and all these other issues. It also feels like I'm surprised. It's too bad about renewables because it seems like the need for power would drive renewables, as it certainly has in China, for instance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going in the wrong direction here. What about we are commissioning a lot more nuclear power. Is that, you consider that a renewable or a?
So China is currently building 150 new nuclear power plants.
Wow.
The U.S. Is not. Right. We're cutting them. We're shutting them down. Right.
Like Europe is shutting them down. Germany, at least.
The safest, cleanest, most efficient source of energy that has ever been developed is nuclear power, and we're shutting it down while other countries are building more. And the marginal cost of electricity is going up here and it's going down in China, right? And so if the fundamental constraint of the ability to do artificial intelligence inference is how much power you can allocate to that, who's going to win, right? Like it's no contest.
Where do you stand on the issue of a bust, that we are in a bubble and that the bubble is going to pop? Is it going to pop?
Yes. I mean, obviously, yeah. I would say yes, 100%.
Obviously.
How to frame the answer? Like you mentioned, right? Like if you look at Oracle, for example, and its financial performance this year, there was this deal made. Yeah. This company that was literally created by the CIA's venture capital arm is saying that they're going to build this enormous amount of new debt-funded infrastructure for OpenAI, which doesn't have the money to pay them for that, right? And they are already levered at like an insane level, like way higher than the rest of the industry. And they're like, we're taking on trillions more.
Right.
And the stock jumped and then it lost half, and it's now down by half, right? In just a few months. And so I think when you talk about like, you mentioned earlier that all of more than 100% of our GDP growth in the last year is the Mag 7. And all of that is purely speculative, and none of that has any ROI. And it's not clear that any of them even has a plan to get to an ROI. And so at some point, the question becomes, how long are we going to, keep these speculative bubbles going, right? The problem is people who have bought in can't sell because there's no one to sell it to without taking a 90% markdown. And that's called a liquidity crisis. It's not called, this isn't worth what we paid for it, right? And so, there are all these people talking today about the government should just buy all of these things from people that invested at these insane levels and bail out the investors. But, even if whether or not that happens, it seems pretty clear that we've been in something like stagflation for a while. We have high inflation, we have high unemployment. You have, like, for example, the Ludwig Institute, which is this very well-reputed institute that does a ton of labor research and cost of living research, has been putting out numbers for years now talking about we actually have like closer to a 25% rate of unemployment if you look at the number of people who are unable to afford the cost of living with the job that they actually have. And there are all these other like alternate measures that people are doing independently of these things like inflation and like consumer price increases and people who have to work 3 jobs to pay rent, right? Like we don't have low unemployment right now. We have high unemployment right now. And when you look at those factors together, you get the 70s, right? People are talking like Andrew Ross Sorkin's got this new book. People are talking about it's going to be 1929. I'm not sure that's true. Yeah. I think that's the wrong way to think about it. So in terms of like specifically the answer to your question, is there going to be a big crash? Maybe not. Maybe it looks more like the 70s. Maybe it's a very long period of low or no growth or negative growth. And then you have I think that was already true before the trade war. But I think it's gonna be so much worse now, right? And you could see a 70s, you could see a lost decade or more where we have like long protracted periods of low or negative growth.
You did your MBA thesis on NVIDIA, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious that was how long ago did you write it?
It was 2 years ago, right? Okay.
I'm curious about your perspectives on this. Start with ChatGPT. I presume you think it's better now. Is there a point where you think, okay, they didn't listen to me at the beginning, but now they're doing better? Is there a point with NVIDIA? Do you think that they're doing a good strategy or on the wrong path? I'm curious your views of some of these big companies and where they're headed.
So I think when you look at ChatGPT today, one of the big bets that was made early on is this idea that if you increase the size, you will increase the capability by more than that. There's this like inverse, this like exponential relationship between the scale and the capability. And that was true at first. But as everyone in Intro to Computer Science learns, all exponential growth curves are just S-curves you haven't found the top of yet. And we found the top, right? And they've started stagnating. They've stopped getting better. And now they're fighting over who's a little bit higher on this plateau that they're on, right? So I think the right way to think about it is what's called the Platonic representation hypothesis. If we are all looking at the same object from slightly different angles, we might draw it in a slightly different way, but it's the same thing that we're all trying to converge on. And that's how all LLMs work. All LLMs are trying to converge on some Platonic ideal in this high dimensional space. There's this shape that is you can't even imagine, and they're all trying to be that, and they're all trying to get closer to that. And so oftentimes it's true that on many important benchmarks, you could see a 2 trillion parameter model performing worse than a 1 billion parameter model, right? This is what Andre Karpathy was talking about in his really good recent interview with Dwarkesh Patel about how like the future is probably like these 1 billion or smaller parameter models that know how to solve problems, how to find the information that they need and put it together. And so that's what I've been arguing for a long time, is that like smaller models are better. We should have models that we can, stick on a Jetson and run at home and not need to pay anybody rent for that, right?
Not just smaller, but open also, right?
Yeah. And we have that, right? And so one of the things that's happened recently is OpenAI actually changed their strategy. They have abandoned their religious reliance on the scaling laws, and the new version has a built-in router that will send you to a small model if it feels like that's enough, right? And you don't get the big thinking harder model unless it feels like the small one isn't going to be able to handle the question, right? So I think a lot of these things are already being adopted in an effort to do cost cutting, and just the realization that bigger is not always better for every situation, right? And in terms of NVIDIA, my argument was that Jensen has been preparing for a large reduction in demand in the near future, right? And so you had for a short time, there were companies like Microsoft and Facebook buying hundreds of thousands of H100s per year, as many as they could get their hands on. All these other companies couldn't, which is why, like, for example, this Dojo supercomputer that's using like feature sizes from the iPhone 11 to build these like the worst AI chips anyone's ever seen. And the person in charge of it quit. They hired a new one. He quit. They hired a new one. He quit. And then they just shut the whole thing down. So Tesla effectively has no AI infrastructure at this point, and they're renting it from this new XAI startup.
Which is Chinese, by the way. Oh, no, XAI. That's Grok's. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you said ZAI. I was thinking ZAI. So confusing with the letters.
So my argument was like NVIDIA controls 98% of the market at that point for inference hardware. And they charge an arbitrary 1,000% markup, and everyone is paying for as many as they can buy, right? They should be charging more. They should charge a lot more, and they should buy a platform like Hugging Face that gives them the power to make it free for developers and let them rent the stuff out instead of selling it, right? And so they did that actually a month after I wrote the paper with this CoreWeave. Not because I said it. I don't think anybody read it.
Take the credit.
But in the paper, I was like, this is so stupid obvious that it must already be the plan. And then it is what happened. So that's how we got CoreWeave essentially. So today that, there are questions about like this whole Michael Burry thing with depreciation. It's like a big topic right now. And it solves that problem because NVIDIA is renting them out. They aren't charging themselves 1,000% markup, right? So they have like much more margin there to work with in terms of depreciating over a longer period and giving like whatever prices they want to the market if they control the entire inference market and not just the market for hardware that inference is done on. And so, you like historically, I think they're less evil, right? Like NVIDIA is not like an evil company in general, where you see like a lot of ethical concerns with the way that inference is used, not so much with the way that like the hardware for it is being built. So I think that ethical landscape is more interesting in terms of like what is allowed to happen on these platforms versus like who's buying them.
We're talking about CJ Trowbridge, who is, you'll see him on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, but is also an expert on sustainability and has a doctorate in ethical AI, which
it's not a doctorate.
Not yet.
not a doctorate,
No.
a master's in ethical AI, a postgraduate degree. Am I right? Is that right? Is that fair to say? I'll have to look at your CV again.
Yeah, so I did my MBA, and then instead of electives, I did the ethical AI program, which is a graduate certificate program.
Ah, got it. At San Francisco State. Tell me about ethical AI. What is it? It's almost an oxymoron. What does that mean?
Well, ethical is the science of deciding the right way to do something and the wrong way to do something. And then what is the right way and the wrong way to do AI? So historically, it was primarily concerned with issues around like there's this idea of like receiver operating characteristics. There's some relationship between two variables that is like ideal in terms of like the ethics. So that might be how many expensive tests are we willing to pay for in exchange for how many people are we willing to like let die because we accidentally said they don't need the test for like an insurance company. So like what is the value of a human life compared to what is the value of the test that we have to pay for, right? So like historically, this is like one of the big ethical problems in AI and today as well, right? But we have these other new emerging ethical concerns in AI, particularly around epistemic power and who has epistemic power, which is the power to tell you what is true, right? And what are the perspectives that are being embodied in the epistemic power that's being expressed by a company like OpenAI that's choosing to put the kinds of people who it is on the board, right? And someone like Sam Altman, right? So are these the people that you want to be in charge of telling the world what is true and false? And you know, if yes, why? If no, why? Right? And those are like the interesting ethical issues I see in generative artificial intelligence that I think don't get enough attention because people are so focused instead on concerns around resource consumption that is less than 1% of our consumption.
It's just
right?
not the issue.
Why do you think that issue has become so sticky? I assume you must experience this a lot given the size of your following on TikTok, but why do you think that people have kind of glommed onto AI is taking all my water and not any of the thornier, more pressing or existentially concerning issues you just detailed?
Yeah, well, so let me give you an example. The most salient version of that argument to me that I have seen is people who are arguing that XAI's data center in Memphis is taking so much water that it threatens the ability of people there to have drinking water. And it's like, okay, I am like talking about Elon has paid my bills for years, right?
Ours too.
As someone that has met him, I met him at Burning Man. Like we have a lot of mutual friends. He had no idea who I was, which I'm like, I'm so glad.
Thank goodness.
Don't have me killed, please. But what's the defining geographic feature of Memphis, right? Like the amount of water that is going through the Mississippi River in Memphis every second is 300 times as much as that data center uses in a year. You know,
well,
and the data center is built next to a sewage treatment plant. It's using treated sewage for cooling. It's not using drinking water. Like it just every part of the argument is just, you know, no one looked anything up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like there are these real concerns around like air quality, right? They have 30 gas turbines running in the parking lot to power the building because they didn't bother to get approval to connect it to the grid. And it's the perfect place to build a data center because the TVA, the whole purpose of the TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority for Electricity, is that it's this New Deal project of like, we're going to build power dams, we're going to build lakes, we're going to produce an enormous amount of abundant and cheap energy with the hope that we can entice aluminum manufacturing into the area, which never happened. So they have all this excess capacity. They have all these nuclear power plants there. It's the perfect place to do that, but they never got the permits. Like they didn't check where is that power available. They just picked a random spot and built it there. And it's like, there's not even power lines, you know? So he brought in all these emergency backup generators, which are illegal to run that way. And it causes enormous pollution, which harms the surrounding neighborhoods, which are primarily Black neighborhoods. And he's talking now about how he's going to build a 2 gigawatt natural gas power plant there.
Jesus.
And it's like you can't just do that. Like, people are going to die, right? Like, so it's super dangerous. These kinds of other externalities, and these things have nothing to do with AI and everything to do with the unethical and incompetent activities of people like Elon Musk.
Boy, I'm so glad you're saying this. This is such important information.
Yeah, and it's frustrating to me to see people saying like AI is bad. And it's like, that is not the lesson to take from this. Right. Elon is bad. Right. Elon is killing people. Right. AI will run on your phone all day and consume no energy or water. Right? Like,
AI brought this video to you on your TikTok feed saying AI is bad.
Yeah. I think there are bad ways to do AI. Absolutely.
Who are some good guys in AI?
I mean, I think like everything that China is doing has been amazing. In AI, like all of these free models that are more performant than the best stuff you can rent in the cloud here, that you can get better results, that it was trained on these nuclear power plants. It's not being trained on like coal and all the terrible energy sources we're using here. It's being trained on these much cleaner and safer energy sources. It's being trained on like there are all these concerns about like what is the ownership of what's being used to train it. And we know that in America, we have companies like Anthropic paying out more than 10% of their last funding round in lawsuits because they torrented all these books. They stole all these books from authors. They didn't pay for them. They didn't use things that were open source. They didn't use the public internet. They just started torrenting stuff and stealing things from people in order to train Claude. And so they paid out billions of dollars in settlements to authors. And you have the same thing happening at Facebook. They were also doing that. They were using Anna's archive, this like huge archive of torrents that they used to train the llama models. And there are superior training sets available now. Like FineWeb is an open source training set. It's 15 trillion tokens. That's more than enough to train an LLM. And it's what was used for like Andrej Karpathy, after he quit OpenAI, published a CUDA library that he wrote with instructions and bash scripts that would let you replicate all of OpenAI's products yourself using superior training sets like FineWeb that weren't available when they trained those models. So if you train GPT-3 in the same way that they did originally on these new training sets, it's actually significantly better than it was. So like, there's no reason to be stealing all this stuff. Like the stuff that's in the public domain that's open source is actually superior, and it's free.
If they had bought one copy of every book, they'd be a lot better off than where they are now.
Yeah.
So, wow, there's so much I want to ask you about. Your thesis in ethical intelligence was about metaphors and how we misuse metaphors. We call it intelligence. We anthropomorphize it, and that really leads us down the wrong trail. I've been talking about that for some time. But it's hard to find another language, especially a language people understand, because we've all kind of settled on this idea that it's, human-like intelligence.
Right.
Do you have a better way of talking about it we can use?
I think it can sort of relate to what we were just talking about. I think it's frequently the case that engineers will be assigned a task like, there's this criticism out there, it doesn't have reasoning. And so the engineer sits down and they're starting to type a function, and the function definition, what's the name of the function? Reasoning. Okay, how am I going to do that? And they'll invent something totally unrelated to reasoning. And it's like, okay, now it's solved. It does reasoning, right? And this is true with so many of these metaphors where you have engineering teams tasked with solving fundamental limitations of these tools and these products, and they're calling it that, and it's just not that. Like, thinking was the same thing. Reasoning is the same thing. Attention is the same thing. What we call attention is not at all related to what attention is. Like, it's just the fact that they have these multiple hidden layers that are fully connected. Like, that's not attention, right? It's not making any kind of executive decision to focus on this or focus on that.
At all, right.
Yeah. And in the same way,
they
it's
named
like
the variables and the functions. They think of it this way. It's really amazing how concrete that is. Yeah.
Right. And you can see the same way with like, we need training data We don't have training data. Let's steal it.
Right.
It's not like let's curate an ethically sourced open source library that we can use to train it. It's like, no, let's just do crime. That's way easier.
Right. It's faster. It's easier.
Let's just.
This is that Silicon Valley ethic of, move fast and break things and, apologize later.
Well, and like Eric Schmidt in his talk at Stanford is like, everybody should just go out and start ripping off everyone else's IP with vibe coding. And if it works, you'll have the money to fight them in court. And if it doesn't work, you just close it down and walk away.
Nothing to sue for.
Yeah.
You say, and I think you're right, that the models, and maybe it's because of this, have become commoditized, that there isn't really that much distinction between any of the models.
Right. Because again, I mean, there is this platonic ideal shape, right? If you think of like parameters, a parameter in an AI model is essentially a connection between two neurons, right? So you have billions or trillions of parameters in an AI model, and it's just a list of numbers that you're multiplying. There's not more than that that's going on. You have this really long list of numbers, you're doing matrix multiplication, it gives you the next word, right? Those parameters are dimensions. And so you can think of these hyperobjects as like a 2 trillion dimensional shape. Like we live in 3 dimensions. What does 2 trillion dimensions look like? You can't even imagine that, right? But that's what they're all made of. And there is some ideal shape that they're all trying to converge on. And so one of the things that's really interesting is the failure of the scaling laws is like you have benchmarks today where there are 2 trillion parameter models that will score worse than 2 or 3 billion parameter models. And so it's like, what is the other like 99.999% of the stuff in there doing, right? It's not helping. It's not necessary. There's this enormous latent space. And it's because we're using unsupervised learning. The process of training is like, here's a whole bunch of stuff, read through it until you feel like you can predict the next thing wherever I start you, right? And that's how we train them. And then it's like, okay, how can we make this be a chatbot now? And so like a lot of these things are like, this just isn't their natural mode. And the thing that they're actually trained to be good at is not what we're actually like using them to do. And it's part of why there is so much this enormous latent space that is not like useful for actually performing the tasks that it's being used for. It's because it's like this unsupervised sort of like figure it out, good luck sort of training method.
My sense is, and I think I hope I'm phrasing it properly, but I think you're right. The issue isn't AI. The issue is the people who are bringing us AI.
Absolutely.
And the choices they are making
100%
for us. So let's do it better on our own. Let's do grassroots stuff. Where can I get one of those little whisper things, whatever that thing
You can't.
is? I want that.
So it's an open source project. It's called WisPlay. And essentially this is like a 3D printed case. It's got a Raspberry Pi with this little hat that has the screen and the microphone and the speaker and the button. And then you can print a case for it and you can just sit here and talk to it.
Oh, you can buy the WisPlay hat on Amazon. OS is currently available. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Raspberry Pi Zero? No.
No.
No, it's a little more than that.
This is the 5. There's also a bunch of these.
Highsugar.com allegedly has it.
Yeah.
That's the manufacturer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you'll notice that the hat is the same size it's the same form factor as the Pi Zero, right?
Yeah.
But the Pi Zero only has half a gig of RAM. So like,
right. It's not enough.
It's not running any LLMs.
Yeah.
But there are all these new like Chinese clones. Like this is the Orange Pi, which is the same form factor, but it has 4 gigs of RAM. But it doesn't have matrix multiplication extensions for the CPU, so it's going to be like even slower. There's a new one that they haven't actually started manufacturing yet from Radxa called the QBA7Z that's got 16 gigs of RAM with an NPU in the same form factor. So you'll be able to do like with half the physical size and even more powerful models, which is really exciting. We're in this really interesting place where there's this abundance of like small edge stuff that's getting really good. So it's really exciting.
This is exciting. If somebody, and I know probably most of the people listening want to start doing this on their own, what do you recommend? I went out and bought a framework desktop so that I could run local models, downloading them from LM Studio. At least that gave me a sense of what was out there. Where do you start? What do you do?
LM Studio is great. It's a free open source project that's built on top of the GGML library. GGML library is incredible. What is accomplished is this open source project to make it really easy to run AI models for inference you don't need TensorFlow, you don't need any of that stuff. It's just this very simple library that can be included in apps. So there's all kinds of apps like Ollama, Llama CPP, LM Studio, that all are built on top of that.
Ollama it's a meta model, though. Do we care where the model comes from?
No, so Ollama is a server that gives you the same API that OpenAI uses with your own models.
So you provide your own. You don't have to use Llama with Ollama. Okay.
No, yeah.
In fact, that's Ollama is what everybody uses for all of their local models. That seems to be the kind of dominant. Llama CPP seems to be the Ollama CCP. PP. So then what
if you wanted to do it on a cell phone, whether you have Android or iPhone, iPhones are really constrained with their memory resources.
Right.
There's no iPhone that has more than 8 gigs of memory. So realistically, you're going to be way less limited on an Android. But both of them have a free open source app that's also built on top of the GGML library called Pocket Pal. And it's an open source community project. And it'll let you run any of these models on your phone, and you can do it all day without needing to plug it in, which tells you that it's not taking all the power, right?
So, and if you're running these smaller models, or you're running them in smaller amounts of memory, what are you giving up? They're not as smart. They're not as what do you lose?
Some of them are smarter. I think the really interesting stuff that's going on right now in this community is including all of these same tool capabilities. So for Ollama, there's a web front end you can use called Open Web UI that will connect to Ollama. And these are just Docker containers. You can run them with a single Docker command. And then you've got an interface like ChatGPT that has the same layout. You can just choose whichever model you want. You can download whatever model you want right there in the web UI. You don't have to get into the code at all or anything. And it includes tool integrations that are converging on all of these different paradigms that are being adopted by different labs, and so it can already go search the web for you and bring back the answer. There's also all of these really interesting projects, including one that we're working on with one of the nonprofits that I started. We're doing off-grid, solar-powered systems that have
this Cyberpony Express?
Yeah.
The Cyberpony Express Mesh-tastic network.
Yeah.
It's off-grid?
Yeah, and it's got AI on it, so you can chat with AI on it.
So I think
it's also
I like the future that you're building here. This future of local small AIs, not run by big tech companies and kind of demented tech bros, but created by the people, for the people, with the use of the people. And it's small and it's nimble. It feels like that's a great direction to go.
Yeah. So that project, we did a GoFundMe. We raised $12,000 to buy the radios and just give them away for free to people. So
these are little mesh radios.
Yeah. And so it has a range of up to 20 miles to the next person. And the mesh that it builds is huge. So right now it's Nevada City to Gilroy, from Modesto to Sonoma, you can text on this network. That there's no internet, there's no cell phone towers. And it's all end-to-end encrypted. No one's in charge of it. No one could be in control of it. It's a totally anarchist peer-to-peer type system. And we've been doing a lot. The team that's building this software is very into Burning Man. So we did this year at Burning Man, we did a group chat with 10,000 people.
This sounds like something that would happen at Burning Man. All right, now I get it.
Yeah. So I'm also the regional chair for Burners Without Borders for the Bay Area. So we're interested.
Without Borders.
Yeah, we're interested in. We do disaster response, disaster preparation.
Love it.
And there's this interesting sort of overlap of the prepper community and the AI community, where it's sort of can I use this in an emergency? Can I use the mesh to contact my friends and family during a disaster, make sure they're okay? And it's and it's all solar powered by these little devices that people have put on all the mountaintops, and you can just send messages across them.
the next generation of amateur radio, of hams. Hams have been very active in local disaster prep. But you had to get a license to do it. You had to get
that's before the feds ruined radio.
This is great. I love this.
Well, I don't know. I am also a licensed amateur radio tech, and I like the thing about like those organizations that you're mentioning, like Aries, for example. There are all these amateur radio emergency organizations where people with an amateur radio will help during a disaster because the infrastructure is all there and it's not reliant on any of the internet or cell phone infrastructure. It's so like, for example, this year at Burning Man, we had 10,000 people in a group chat on Meshtastic. The whole city can talk, can listen, can get news from each other about what's going on. And we had a number of disasters. And we had like people with like, there were meteorologists with like, they brought a Doppler radar and they're like, okay, here's what's about to happen. And that's so much more accurate than what you can find online even, right? And so it's these kinds of alternative, like,
I love this,
peer-to-peer mesh topologies are just inherently superior to like legacy media institutions in terms of like their ability to disseminate important information hyper locally.
How do we get this to let's get this going. How do we get this going?
We are.
What is the High Desert Institute? Tell us about that.
So I've a few years ago, I started a nonprofit with a group of friends, and we basically buy land all over the country and build like free communities for people that want to go live there and build houses and
off-grid.
And there's a TV show about the most recent one on Discovery, which is kind of like they filmed the process of building it, and then they like sort of tried to make a reality show out of it, which is like it wasn't a reality show. Of course they did.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
But it's out there if people want to check it out. But basically, we've been building these free lands all over the country. And one of the requests that we got at the first one was someone was like, can we build our own internet so we don't have to use like the government satellites?
Yes.
And at that point, there wasn't a lot of stuff like this, but a lot of like Meshtastic is still very much like a beta project, but we're, working really closely with the development team and building out these networks. And now it's really possible to have like this secure offline communication with people. And we've got a bunch of like robotics projects, for example, that we're working on that's integrated with the mesh so that you can like put an LLM on like I've got like the quadruped, like canine, you can 3D print these now. And
well, you put that on a dog, or it is a dog?
Yeah.
You put it on a dog.
The legs are not attached. But yeah, you can have it be on the mesh, and you can give it simple text instructions, and it's got an LLM on there that'll interpret, the context of where it is and what's the instruction and figure out how to go do it.
This is much more the neuromancer future than it is the dystopian future others have imagined. I love this idea where you're going to have these hyper conglomerates, these Keiretsus. You're going to have these big, powerful companies. Yeah. Let's move under the radar at a human scale and make a difference and do it for ourselves so we're not stuck in that machinery.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where you were going with that because Neuromancer is my favorite book. I'm like, that's pretty dystopian, but
it is dystopian, and it's also about these giant corporations. But there's also this underground, right?
Right. If the future sucks because big corporations are evil, how can people use technology in unexpected and unplanned for ways to be okay through that and survive and thrive through the chaos that we're likely to see in the next 20, 30 years?
This is what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited and very nervous about the TV show adaptation that's about to come out.
I am too. No, please don't. cjtrowbridge.com is probably a good place to start. You can see all the projects they're up to, and all the theses are online. Their Spotify playlists are online.
People ask for those.
It's all there. But I think the thing to find out about is all the different things CJ's into and their TikTok and YouTube and Twitch streams, and I just think this is I want to support this because I think you're on the right track, absolutely, and this is where we need to go. I think don't you think, Jeff? And Paris, we've kind of come to that conclusion over the year doing this show that thinking about big tech's AIs and what they're doing and what's happening. And I just think it's very encouraging. We've heard more and more about small models over the last few months. I really think it's exciting what's about to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm very inspired by it and encouraged by it. CJ Trowbridge, thank you so much for joining us.
I would just add sort of like a last thought is if the bubble pops, if all these companies go away, almost all the value of what's been created we will still have in these open source models that we will continue to be able to run on the edge. And like the reason we're not making a lot more of those is because like we've kind of reached what we're going to reach, right? Like this is the end of the plateau, right? And so no matter what happens, we will still have these tools, and we need to figure out how we can use them locally and not rent them from these, future X corporations that are currently ruling the world.
Love it.
So nice to meet you guys.
Your lips to Elon Musk's. Never mind.
Well, don't even. Long gone.
Thank you, CJ. I really appreciate your time. Very inspiring stuff. CJ Trowbridge, everybody. We'll be back with the AI news in just a bit. Our show today brought to you by The Agency. Here's another project I think is pretty worthy. Build the future of multi-agent software with Agency, AGNTCY. It's now an open source Linux Foundation project. That's so cool. Agency is building the Internet of Agents. It's a collaboration layer where AI agents can discover, connect, and work across any framework. And the thing is, all the pieces engineers need to deploy multi-agent systems now belong to everyone who builds on Agency. That includes robust identity and access management. That's super important. It ensures every agent is authenticated and trusted before you interact with it. Agency also provides open, standardized tools for agent discovery, seamless protocols for agent-to-agent communication, modular components for scalable workflows. You'll be working with developers from the best: Cisco, Dell Technologies, Google Cloud, Oracle, Red Hat, 75 plus other supporting companies to build next-gen AI infrastructure together. Agency is dropping code, specs, and services, no strings attached. Visit agency.org to contribute. That's agntcy.org. We thank him so much for supporting intelligent machines. What do you think, Jeff? I think there is some hope.
Yeah. But I don't think we can write off the big guys. I don't think he's saying that either. But I think that we got to push them still.
Yeah.
We got to push Meta to have Llama and.
Do you think Llama's long for this world?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it is. That's what I think we've got to keep the pressure on, and not just give up on trying to make.
What would keeping the pressure on even look like at this point?
This talking about it.
Yeah,
I guess.
I think Jan LeCun leaving.
Well,
matters.
Anyway, I don't know whose idea it was. I think it was Anthony's to talk to CJ, but I'm super glad we did. I think.
Yeah, what a great guest.
Yeah, that's yeah. Yep. If there's to be a future for your generation, Paris, it isn't.
It ain't us.
I'm assuming there
us.
isn't, but
I'm acting as if there's not. Just that would be.
Hey,
the
listen.
safe thing. There's still. What's interesting is the big guys are still doing interesting stuff. This week, 2 new models out. They're competing with each other like crazy. Gemini 3 Flash, which is a much smaller model built for speed, not open source. It's Gemini. Look, there's our friend Tulsi Doshi writing about this on behalf of the Gemini team and the Keyword blog. People have already tried it, think it's very impressive. It's very fast thinking, and its scores are very good. It's also cheap, relatively cheap. Gemini 3 Pro, which is $2 for 100,000 tokens. Or I'm sorry, price per million tokens is $2. Price per million of Gemini 3 Flash, 50 cents. So it's a quarter the cost.
Call now.
Now it is more expensive than 2.5 Flash, but the Flashes have always been a little bit less expensive. Did well. So Gemini 3 Pro, 37% on humanity's last exam. Flash 33.7, so close, very close in the scores, and you can see the other scores here. In fact, it did better on ARC AGI too. So this is they're moving forward. They're not to be outdone by Nano Banano. ChatGPT Images is here. And I've seen a number of comparison between the new images in ChatGPT. This is, their old Dolly, but they've updated it. And the images created by Nano Banana. And I have to say, it's not only competitive, I think in many cases it's more realistic. It feels more real. Yeah. Let me see. I'll find some examples on Reddit. There have been some good
I was about to
examples.
say, I feel like every example I've seen on Reddit has been the opposite.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
But it might not have
Jason
been
tried
the most recent update.
it's also prompting, and so Jason tried it?
He tried out Gemini versus the new ChatGPT, and Gemini was beating the hell out of it.
It was.
Yeah, better and faster.
Images, you mean?
He was doing, what do you call them? Infographics.
Oh, yeah. The infographics are incredible on Nano Banana. Incredible. I saw a candid family photo comparison between Nano Banana and the new GPT Images that I thought GPT Images was indistinguishable from.
I'm posting a haunting image in.
I guess it's.
right
I guess
now.
you know what? It's again. It's just.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss, right?
And it's leapfrog.
Right.
People have also, as per usual, been really mad on the ChatGPT and OpenAI subreddits that they're worried it's taking away their horny mommy, for lack of a better description.
I'm sorry. What is that?
By which I mean people are upset that either their AI girlfriend, boyfriend, romantic partner, or their comfort object that perhaps takes a parental figure is gone. They're upset that this latest iteration of ChatGPT that we've had come out last couple of weeks
is not your horny mommy anymore.
For lack of a better description, yes. I thought it was pretty
self-evident. Is that what the kids call it?
No. I don't think I've ever heard it, but I do
Is that
think that's
you? Did you make that up?
That's
I like
fresh
it.
off the dome, baby. It clearly is not confusing to anyone at all and didn't require immediate explanation.
No. I'm looking through some of these images. Well, here's one I saw. This is an example of making a World Wildlife Fund ad, One Planet, Many Lives. The prompt in both cases was use a globe on moss image as the main background. Inside the glass globe, add a small panda pear, realistic, softly reflected pear, P-A-I-R, not P-E-A-R, curve to match the sphere. Tag One Planet, Many Lives, small line, optional, protect habitat. I think they're both very good. I kind of like the image, the GPT image a little bit better.
Yeah. No, GPT, no, I like Nano Banana better.
You like Nano Banana better?
Much
Okay,
better
so that's a matter of preference, I guess.
Nano Banana is better at typography.
It is better at typography by far. I agree with you on
I
that.
thought you said topography, like...
Topography or typography?
Yeah.
I'm just...
Shows where my brain goes. Always to the plants.
In any event, even the big boys are improving rapidly, finding new ways to do stuff. But I kind of agree with CJ's thesis that they are a little bit commoditized.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're very
well.
similar.
This is also where the different paradigms work. There's a paper today. Jan LeCun's one of the co-authors and I had to have AI explain it to me, but deals less in words and more in ideas, and only later in the process does it translate the idea into words.
Right.
This is kind of where their stuff's going. It's
I feel a little bit like a junkie though, using this. I can't stop using this stuff, even knowing if it's I'm glad to know it's not bad for the environment, but knowing that it's not good for humans.
What do you mean you can't stop using it?
I'm hooked. Like Claude Code.
What have you used it for today?
Okay.
Claude Code is today. I just use it now I was having a weird problem with my Emacs setup. I said, take a look at this. What's going on? And it solves it. It's very good. I do images all the time. I don't have it write things ever, I don't think. I mostly I would say the number one use is research. So if I, like just as you did, Jeff, explain it to me. I ask it, medical conditions. I ask it for advice on, what's the best way to fix a squeaky door, that kind of thing. It's very good. I mean, it hallucinates. I had a problem with my Linux setup, and I tried and tried and tried with all the different models, never was able to get a solution that actually worked. So yeah, I'm not saying it's perfect. In fact, we have a story here about from one of the best Mac bloggers about not using AI to solve your Mac issues. He tried it against a couple of well-known.
I will also say I don't think you should be using AI to solve medical issues. That is
not solve medical issues, but
I would argue you should, not rely on AI for medical issues.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be judicious. I'm not saying you shouldn't be judicious.
But I think part of the issue is that these systems are designed to make you not judicious about it because it seems confident. And
yeah, well, I know more. I know better than that, and you're right. I think that's a pitfall. But I think
knowing what questions to ask the actual doctors.
Be careful about that.
Yeah.
But I found it incredibly useful. This is an example. This is from the Eclectic Light Company Macintosh blog. Last week on my Mac, how good is AI at solving Mac problems? He gave it 3, I think, fairly common issues with Macintoshes.
Why is it so expensive?
He says Google's AI can't maintain a logical sequence in troubleshooting, prefers to direct the user to command tools rather than the familiarly bundled utilities. All the answers were wrong. How to reset permissions. They were just wrong. Now, he's an expert, so it's good. He knew that they were wrong.
It's ever that wrong when it's talking about your precious medical issues, though.
Well, but it isn't. Oh, you're so mean to me. Why are you so mean? No, it isn't. But that's the caution is if you didn't know and you typed in the commands that the AI gave you on the Mac, you might screw your Mac up. Me, it's just my body. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Time Magazine names AI the person of the year?
But it's not even. People. And then do you guys know the poly market aspect of this?
Yes, that's hysterical. So people tell us what happened.
Let's show the Time Magazine cover.
Okay, there's 2. There's one with just...
zoom in. First one is just something that says AI.
Yeah, where they're building it. But here's the so-called architects.
Skyscraper.
It's a takeoff on a very famous 1930s picture of construction workers over New York City sitting on a girder eating their lunch. Instead, it is
a bunch of AI
8 people who are somewhat involved with AI. You've got Mark Zuckerberg. You've got Lisa Su of AMD. I don't know why she's there. You've got Elon Musk.
They wanted some women
They wanted to put some women in. They've got Jensen Huang. They've got Sam Altman. There's Demis Hassibis. That is Dario Amodei of Anthropic. And then weirdly, they do have another woman, Fei-Fei Li, who is probably one of the, along with Demis, probably one of the 2 real architects.
Yes.
That people who actually do anything.
But
and
I love
poor
that
Fei-Fei Li is sliding off the girder halfway.
Even though there's plenty of space to
Look
the right.
at all Mark has all this room.
Move over, but Mark won't move over.
By the way, Mark has never looked so happy in his life. That is not... Anyway.
So I put up the Time cover of the year. Ostensibly, it's for AI architects. And listen, this is going to be the only time I'll ever come to the defense, and I'm not even doing that, of polymarket betting people. And I assume it's polymarket bet. It might have been the other one, Kalshi.
I think it was both. It was both Kalshi and polymarket.
In both cases, they had some sort of bet going on for whether the Time person of the year would be AI. And when these covers went out, people were like, hey, yeah, I voted yes, that it was going to be AI. Where's my money? And in both cases, they closed it down being like, sorry,
you lose.
AI wasn't the person of the year. Architects of AI was.
Well, there's also, and we were talking about this on Sunday on Twit, and it's actually interesting because we had a good panel. One of the people on the panel, Owen Thomas, worked at Time Magazine in this during some of these debates over the cover, and he said these guys completely punted. They couldn't. They should have picked probably Jensen Huang, but they just couldn't pick one.
These covers are such BS.
It's just to sell.
Meaningless.
It's meaningless.
I put in the
said
Discord
that,
Jürgen Schmidhuber's version.
Do you remember that one year that the person of the year was you?
You? They did the same thing. They did the same thing with the personal computer. They wanted to make it Steve Jobs, but he was such a jerk. They didn't dare do it. So they decided to make it the personal computer. Here is,
as you were saying, some of these aren't architects. In fact, two of the people are, but
here's
another architect.
Schmidhuber's version of the person of the year. Who is that?
We've talked about him. Jürgen Schmidhuber is one of the AI has many parents. Jürgen's one of them.
And he's apparently very strong.
Do you think he's the strongest of the AI parents?
They look like it, I think.
Look, it's clear that none of these people, except for, again, Demis, possibly Dario, and for sure Feifei Li, have sat down at a computer to code any AI. So the architects, maybe I guess the architects could be the financial guys. Is Jensen a coder? I don't know.
Joel Jensen's technical.
He's more technical anyway. Yeah, he's more of an engineer.
But yeah, it's just BS.
It's just, we shouldn't get too excited about that because it is, after all, just a marketing stunt.
I told the story, I think, when my mentor at People Magazine, Pat Ryan, was facing a cover with Mel Gibson, had no idea what to say. And she said, oh, screw it, let's just call him the sexiest man alive. And that became and that started the franchise. The trope. Yeah. So it's like 10 best bagels in New York. We were talking about this on Twitter, and the irony is, it used to be to sell magazines, right? You put it on the cover, it sells magazines, but there's no newsstands, there's no magazines. What are you doing now? Why do you do this? Is it to get clicks? Maybe it's to get us to talk about it.
People angrily quote tweeting you,
and we did
exactly,
and we got some people upset at Polymarket and Kalshi for sure. By the way, the Claude skills that we've been using very effectively in our research for the shows, thank you, Anthony Nielsen, have now moved to OpenAI as well. It's such a OpenAI is that quietly,
a skill you use for that?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't initially, but once Claude added skills, we decided
I need to figure out, I guess, how to turn that into a skill for mine.
Yeah. Well, ask it.
I mostly just have it as in a project.
It'll tell you how to turn it into a skill.
I guess it will.
So now, that was back in October. Now here we are 3 months later. My God, OpenAI is doing the same with ChatGPT and their command line Codex. Everybody's got it is commodified.
Yes.
And by the way, CJ's point was it's all trained on the same data, so of course it's commodified. I guess that makes sense.
And it's all transformers, and it's all attention must be paid, and
it's all not currently unprofitable.
And it's all unprofitable. Although there are some, here's a company that says it's making money, $100 million a year. It's ChatGPT for doctors.
Is that revenue or is that profit?
Revenue. Yeah, revenue. This is, although I think if anything is going to succeed, this is probably the right idea. Open Evidence has a AI for doctors only. It's trusted. Unlike the AI I use for my medical advice, it's trusted because it's based entirely on medical journals, on peer-reviewed medical journals, like the Journal of American Medical Association and Lancet and so forth. They have now a valuation of $12 billion, according to Stephanie Palazzolo at The Information, on revenue, generating annualized revenue of more than $100 million. And how do they make the money? They sell ads to pharmaceutical companies.
Oh no!
On the advice they give to doctors.
Oh boy!
So there is money to be made. You see,
it's going to ruin AI too.
Yeah. I'm presuming they're not putting it in the actual answer that they're.
Why would you ever presume that?
I don't know. You're right. Good question.
You're being too kind. Yeah.
I can't use it. You have to be a physician.
You're going to have to click through 3 to 5 pop-up ads about brand name drugs before you can get your diagnosis for your specific stage of terminal cancer. That's going to be our future.
And even if it does say sponsor and it's underneath the result, that's got to have some influence on a physician who's looking for an answer to a question. And he looks below and says, oh yeah, I need to Tresiba Liba Diba. That's what I need.
I like their pens. They'll give me more pens.
I want more Tracibly
Buy me a
pens
nice
and pads.
lunch whenever I'm able to actually open my email underneath all these pop-up ads.
But that does happen today. Like pharmaceutical companies are talking directly to doctors all the time.
They hire attractive young women who go from doctor's office to doctor's office with swag bags. And I know a number of people in
Sam
pharmaceutical
Quinones'
sales.
great book about opioids.
That's right.
That happened.
That's right.
Book.
How did that whatchamacallit family succeed?
Yep. So did you like the story I made for you?
Yes, I loved that.
it.
Isn't that cute? I like the first
You
one with
should show
Paris as a
it.
little girl. Did you
I don't
tell
know
it?
why I'm so short in this.
I don't know either. So
You're very tiny.
Gemini storybook is out, and it'll make you just give it a prompt. You can put a picture in it, it'll use it, and it'll make a 10-page
Is it for
story.
parents to make stories from
I
with
think
their
that's
kids?
A more for smartasses to make them for their podcast friends.
Let me see if I can find one here. Oh, you emailed them.
I emailed them.
Oh,
They're so
okay.
big. They had to come, yeah.
They're so big. You
They're
had to
so
look
big
at
we
it twice.
can't scan
So
it
you
for
can do them
viruses.
in anime, in claymation, in just plain.
I like the claymation
cartoon.
one,
I
but
like
that's
the
the one
claymation.
where Paris is really teensy weensy.
Well, it was I think I said
You're
it was
old in
Paris
both
and
of
her
them.
two fathers. It confused us.
Oh, that's how that happened.
It confused us. So I'm Leo, and Leo is me.
Which one would you like me to show first?
I don't care. They're both. They're shrimp
Operation
one, I think.
Prawn Star.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Wait, did you send multiple? I only
Yes,
see
I did.
one.
Oh, there's two. Yeah. Well, let me show you the first.
I didn't
I'll show
see
you
the-
both of them.
Oh,
I have to download them. They are large. Pharmaceutical swag is banned in California. Well, I didn't know that, Scooter X. Well, that's good news.
That is good news.
So here we are riding our boat, the podcast Pig. There's Paris in front.
That's one way to call it.
The trademark glasses. I guess that's me. And then Jeff behind me with a mustache. Oh, no.
but then it
Now he's got a
changes.
goatee. Hello, Google Island, and welcome to a very special broadcast, shouted Leo, leaning into an enormous foam-covered microphone. This is Paris and her two dads, and today we are embarking on Operation Prawn Star. Have you seen this before? You saw this one, right,
I haven't
Paris?
seen this one. I saw the other one.
Okay.
I know,
Paris nodded
I'm
seriously.
already in tears over the name Podcast Pig, but
Adjusting her headset, our mission to find and capture the elusive, glowing, and slightly aggressive radioactive shrimp. It's rumored to live deep in the fizzing fjord beyond the bubble sea. Oh, my. Anyway, I won't read the whole thing to you. This is claymation,
just
though.
scroll through the claymation. There's so. Why do you look? Why did both of them make you look so young?
I know it pisses me off.
Well,
I get
because
older as it goes on.
It's because I
I
listen
love
to
that
AI.
book that says Shrimp Guide on it. That's very cute.
Yeah, my hair is not brown. Jeff,
You'll flip to clay
you look like
paint.
Burl Ives. I don't know. The only way I know it's Paris is
I've had every different hair color throughout.
I
This.
know. It's the glasses are the trademark.
Don't panic, dads. Paris click buttons on her keyboard control panel.
We can use the sound to our advantage. High frequency bait. And here's the radioactive shrimp. Jeff's apparently interviewing it.
I like that it's Jeff is in a boat, but it's also underwater.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Oh, but it says Leo raised his microphone like
Yeah.
a
It's
very
shield,
confused,
So,
yes.
So now I don't know who's whom,
wow.
who's who.
Next week we're countering the mountain of mildew. I look like I've just seen a ghost in this panel.
This is good. You want to see the other one?
I've
You've
seen the other
seen the other one. All right.
one. We
well,
should show the audience the other one. It's cute.
Yeah, they haven't seen the other one, so we'll.
So if you're an actual parent with a little kid, this could be
It's
a lot
cute.
of fun to make
Do
your
you
kid a
think,
star of a book.
Should I be sad? You know, Patrick Delahanty, our CTO, his wife is a very accomplished, very well-known children's book author. She illustrates it. She's finishing up a book. It takes her a year.
None of these is going to be a bestseller, ladies and gentlemen.
I hope not. So this
I would
is
also, I mean, as the only person here who doesn't have kids, I am unqualified to speak in this one. I speak as if I'm qualified anyway, because I'm a podcaster.
Because you're a podcast.
I would imagine if you're reading a children's book, you're going to be reading that God knows how many times over the course of a year, if not multiple years.
Yeah.
You are going to want to purchase a book that someone's actually taken the time to illustrate and time to write,
agree.
because
And
you're going to
think
be looking
through.
at those pages. God knows
it's
how
true.
many. hours
I've read
of your
Goodnight
life.
Moon thousands of times. In fact, we had to buy many editions of it because the first one we got, Abby would tear the pages out and eat them.
No one's going to be eating these.
So we ended up getting a board book version of it. She couldn't eat those pages. So here you are, Jeff. I think looking quite distinguished. Paris looks like a character out of Scooby-Doo or something. This is good.
I do,
Yes,
yeah.
she
I was
does.
going to say Jinkies.
I don't know where they got this picture
Who
of me from.
is this?
The haircut is pretty hip though, Leo.
Yeah,
I was
I've got
going to say, you do
heck
look like
of a
you're
fade.
about to join a far-right group.
Yeah, there you go. I'm a prepper.
This look like meta glasses too.
And what's funny is we get into this thing called the neuronaut. I don't know where.
The high-pitched whir, the world outside ballooned. The desk looked like a clip, the microphone like a skyscraper.
This was
So
supposed to go
we got
inside
shrunk?
intelligent machines. That was the
We're heading toward the heart of Alpha Zero. And there's Jeff looking quite distinguished at the billions of
Getting
tiny
older.
floating sparks.
This thing makes
Incredible, he
zero
whispered.
sense as it goes. 0 cents.
Incredible.
It's also made Paris really short.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
And look, I'm getting fatter and older rapidly.
you are getting more and less gray at the same time.
my hair has grown out.
Jeff is
That's the
getting
good
more
news.
and more wise looking.
Yes, he is.
Paris
He looks-
is more troubled.
I do look more troubled, yeah.
That's a great picture, though. I like that. That's like the cover
Kind
of
of fun.
one of those Nancy Drew mysteries or something.
Yeah, but this will never have the fun nature.
No,
of
you
them.
Oh, that's
it's-
a glam shot for Paris.
Yeah, you should use that instead of your plaid suit.
You know what? With this one, I fed it your picture with the keyboard, Paris. It didn't pick up on that.
Devastating.
It really is. I was hoping.
And there they are doing the show.
There we
Leo's
are doing the
disappeared
show.
in a puff
Yeah,
of smoke.
he's just out of frame.
Anyway, look, it's fun. It's
fun.
silly.
It's
I don't
fun.
think it isn't going to put people out of business.
So let me say something controversial. I don't want to put children's authors out of work. I don't want to put anybody out of work.
No.
But this week I saw a couple of things complaining about how ad copywriters and ad people are being put out of work. Should we cry?
This is from
This is
Blood
a question
in the
for
Machine.
you and Leo, the two people who talk and think more about TV advertising than any person I've ever met.
We do. We spend a lot of energy on that.
When I was coming home from Florida, my dad was driving me to the airport. You know, it was like 5 a.m., early quiet car. There wasn't much going on in Howard Stern. I was like, got to think of things to talk. I was like, do you have any strong sense memories of ads from your youth? Because I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when I'm hanging out with Jeff and Leo, all they do is and he rattled off the top of his dome 3 to 5 ads. And I was
Sure.
like, yeah.
See? Yeah.
Sure, of
They're
course.
very effective. You
Moore
don't?
Park sausages, Mom.
I mean,
No, Paris wasn't around.
Oh,
when we
my
had three
baloney
channels.
has a first name. It's OSCAR. My baloney has a second name. It's MAYER. You know that? Does that ring a bell?
no,
Does
not
it
at
hurt
all.
and have a temperature? Does that ring a bell? Any of that? None of that?
It's
Okay.
because Paris, we would see the same ads for like 2 months. It was the same ad on the same 3 channels. So it just
That's
gets
why it's
burned. It
repeated
just gets
over and
burned
over and
into your
over
head.
again. Because we only had 3 channels, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is terrifying.
I mean, you don't remember what you saw yesterday on YouTube.
I don't,
No.
honestly.
Like people,
So
you
this
really
is
have
a
to
Brian
appreciate
Merchant.
how little media there was before compared to today. Like there was so much less of it before.
So it made more of an impression. Who could forget, in Frosty the Snowman, those Norelco razors going down the hills?
That was kind of creepy, actually, Leo.
Thank you. Joe Esposito just put an ad in the chat that I will be watching after this, which is David Lynch's memorable early 2000s PS2 ad.
This is such a weird ad. I have seen this ad, and I guess if you're a Lynch fan,
I was about to say, if it's a David Lynch ad, it's gotta be weird, right?
it's so weird. I was forced to use AI until the day I was laid off. Copywriters reveal how AI has decimated their industry. I didn't know this. Brian Merchant has a Substack called Blood in the Machine.
That's his book.
That's also the name of his book. Yeah.
Yes. Which is, I guess, I'm guessing it's about all the people who are just suffering because
It looks
AI's
back
taking their
at
jobs.
the post-feudal fights over looms and threshers.
your point, Jeff, no one is bemoaning the loss of copywriters. The reason they're so easily replaced is because what they write is so
That's my point.
anodyne.
And I don't mean to be cold-hearted. Their jobs matter, their families matter. All that's absolutely true, and we've got to figure out as a society what we're doing. But at some point, certain jobs go away because we don't need them and don't miss them.
Right.
And we don't need to hold on to them just for the sake that they were there.
I was a copywriter for a long time. I've written a lot of copy.
Do you remember any of your lines?
Yes, I did. So I was writing an ad for our morning guys on KNBR, Frank and Mike in the morning, and they had a slightly bawdy style, but it was all innuendo, it was all tongue in cheek because this was
radio.
It was radio in the 80s. It wasn't But I thought, okay, I was doing an ad for a local car dealer, and about how good their service was. And I thought, I'm going to put this line in and see what they do with it. And so I had Mike saying, "Oh, these guys, they did such a good job servicing my car. They even polished the knob on my stick."
Oh, you're always a teenager.
He read it.
He read it?
He read it.
Did he notice what he said?
I think he did, and I think he probably even enjoyed it. He read it. Which surprised the hell out of me. I was embarrassed. I thought, I didn't think that would make it on the air. I was kind of razzing them, but they read it. So copywriting is kind of fun because it can be kind of creative. You've seen Mad Men,
right? Yeah.
But it's in service of selling a product like cigarettes that probably you don't care about or should actively not be selling. That was really I thought the most interesting part of Mad Men is when he's working for the cigarette companies who have just learned that their product causes cancer, and he's coming up with some ways to get around that. And they're saying, well, we got to address this. And he says, no. He says, you don't want to mention this. Tell me how you make your cigarettes. And they say, well, we take the tobacco and we toast it, and then we.
Well,
he said, wait a minute. Stop there. Toasted. He said, yeah. He said, that's your slogan. He said, everybody toasts their tobacco. No, say it's toasted. And it was, by the way, I don't remember, was it Philip Morris, but I don't remember who it was, but it was a real cigarette company, and that was their line. It's toasted. All of the stuff cigarette companies said was BS. In fact, we found out that Kent's micronite filter, we were talking about this, right? Was made it out of asbestos for 5 years. Not only did it not
your
cure,
lungs feeling fresh.
not only did it not make you healthier, it actually actively killed you. And then 4 out of 5. Here was another great ad slogan for cigarettes. Not a cough in every pack, or something like that, right? What was it? A cough in every pack? It was something like that. Anyway,
Christ.
Copywriters, you can find another. Yeah, the Lucky Strike. It's toasted. There's the ad. Thank you, Jeff.
There's the picture of it being toasted.
It's toasted, like toast. And the guy, I actually loved Mad Men. The guy said, all cigarette tobacco's toasted. He's no, but he said, they're all cooked. He said, no, but you're toasted. It was actually, that's how advertising in the modern era began.
I mean, these ads were pre-Mad Men era.
Yeah, these are old. But what was the guy's name? He was Sigmund Freud's nephew.
Bernays?
Yeah.
Yeah, Edward Bernays. Well, he invented public relations, propaganda.
And, for instance, the cigarette company said to him, how can we get more women smoking? And because it was, at the time, it was considered very, kind of unfeminine to smoke cigarettes. So he made sure that suffragettes marching down the street all had cigarettes. He was brilliant.
He was hired by the book industry to try to stop people from giving books to friends, so that everybody had to have their own copies of books. And he tried to come up with a name
share
for
books.
Book snappers, like kidnappers.
Book snappers. The founder. This was in the 20s.
Yeah, 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how social science research and advertising and polling all grew up together.
He wrote a book in 1928 called Propaganda.
Lazarus Feld is a famous social scientist around this. Yeah.
So there you go, proving your point that we care more about advertising than anything else, Paris.
It's true. I've spent this time looking through the American Museum of Tort Law website to try and find the specific cigarette ads I want to make a joke about. And then
do you remember?
So you
don't remember any cigarette ads? They were long gone before.
No, they were mostly gone.
Sadly, I can't think of the William Tell overture without hearing "Have a lark, have a lark, have a lark today."
I don't know.
Lark was a cigarette.
How do you guys feel about Joe Camel? Was he cool?
Well, so there was a great thing. There was the Billboard Liberation Front in San Francisco. They would take the Marlboro Man and put bras on him on billboards.
Well, he ended up dying of cancer, too, by the way.
Not good? Was that considered not cool for the Marlboro Man?
Yeah, that was the thing. That was
not much of a man
They
if he
were
has to wear
mocking
a
his
brassiere.
masculinity. Fabrice Florin and the Billboard Liberation Front.
I remember Fabrice Florin.
Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's take a break so I can do an ad. And
Are you going to say
my ads don't have catchy jingles, unfortunately. It's funny.
Benito, quick, put something about shining a knob in the ad copy now.
Yes, quick, right now. Because I was so allergic to many years of doing this, I decided our ads are going to be about features and benefits, which is really not how ads are sold. Ads are sold by making you feel bad or feel good, right? Have a feeling, oh my God, you've got bad breath. Only your best friend will tell. I'm sorry, I'm making Paris yawn. Let's do an ad. We'll have more.
You're only making me yawn because I'm not breathing correctly because I'm trying not to cough.
Oh, I'm sorry that you have a cold.
Me too.
It's that time of year though, isn't it? The winter cold.
It is. I screwed myself over because I was, I'm sure I just had some latent sickness, as we all do, malaise in the general area. And then it snowed a bunch on Sunday. And I recently have gotten into aggressive base layer use. So I was like, oh, me and my friends, I'm going to go out and walk around in the snow. I have a lovely day to have happen. I've got to go do some shopping. And I was accidentally outside in the snow for 5 or 6 hours. And I think that's what did me in.
Yeah.
You'll catch your death.
You're getting old, Paris. You got to take care.
I'm getting old. I got to take care of myself.
I think it's because you went to that party.
It's true.
Myself.
No, it's like going in and out of places because you're super cold outside and then you go inside and it's super warm. Especially in New York, when you go inside in the winter, everything is overheated.
Did you know that the winter cold is a different animal?
Give your heart to your love. What gives you to contact?
I was wondering if we were going to get through this without one.
Sneezing, runny nose.
Do they still make
One at night,
contact?
means all night, then
I think
all
so.
day relief.
I don't know.
What is this?
It's like ice cream
Time
cone
release.
sprinkles in a tablet.
Give your code
Yeah.
to contact.
That's just a little medical advice from my AI.
See, that's why he can go to AI for doctors. He went to TV for it before.
Yep. Actually, was looking for, there was an ad that said the winter cold is a different animal, but I couldn't find that one. Hey, I want to show you this. Our show today brought to you by Aura. This is my new Aura ink frame. This is a silly picture, isn't it? I love it when you can get design and technology together to make a product that is somehow perfectly balanced, both design and function. And what I don't like is when the technology intrudes into my home, my space. And that's what I love about the Aura ink. This is Aura's first ever cordless color e-paper frame featuring a very sleek 0.6-inch profile, a softly lit 13.3-inch display. Ink feels like a print, but it functions like a digital frame, and perhaps most importantly, lives completely untethered, no cords, with a rechargeable battery that lasts up to 3 months on a single charge, unlimited storage, and the ability to invite others to add photos via the Aura Frames app. It's the cordless wall-hanging frame you've been waiting for. The other thing that's great about the Aura frame that I really like, they just added this feature. You can now text message new images to it. So here's a picture of Salt. Actually, this is kind of interesting. This is a watercolor of my kids from Salt Hank's book signing I had AI do a watercolor. It really looks good on the Aura frame. I love that. So the idea is this is e-paper. But they've done a lot of engineering on this. It transforms the millions of tiny ink capsules into your favorite photos, renders them in some beautiful kind of muted vintage tones. It is not another screen, and this is the thing I like about it. It really is like a photo on your wall. It's thin enough to hang on your wall. It automatically transitions to a new photo. In my case, overnight. You can do it every 2 hours if you want, or manually, as I've been doing, pressing the button. There's our Packers and Niners fans. And I love it because, and the reason I change it overnight only is because it doesn't feel like a digital screen. It feels like I'm hanging photos on my wall, and it just magically changes every night, which I think all of us have huge collections of digital photos that just live on a hard drive. We never see them. This way, they surface. It's also a great gift, right? So I'm going to send this to my mom. She's going to love it. It's Comtech certified. Ink is recognized by the Comtech Institute as a product designed to minimize digital noise and distraction. The front light, here's a picture actually of me and my mom. The front light on this it doesn't look like it's lit, but it all, by the way, automatically turns off at night, and it adjusts to the ambient lighting. So the picture always looks great. It doesn't glow. It's hard to describe. It seems kind of alive. And because it's cordless and because it's so thin, I mean, look how thin it is. This could just hang in your wall. You could hang in landscape or portrait mode. They also have a very handy magnetic stand you can put on it, so you could put it on your desk as well. It looks like a classic frame. It doesn't look like another screen in your life. Who wants another screen? This is all about your photos. Mom's going to love it. And the thing is, because I can send text messages to the frame, I'm going to send her pictures of, the old days of us as kids and stuff. But as we sit around the tree opening presents on Christmas Day, I can text, as I take pictures, I can text them to the frame and she'll get them right away, which is nice. So it's cordless design, ultra-thin profile, softly display the paper textured matting ink. Looks like a classic frame, not a piece of tech. See for yourself at auraframes.com/ink. Do support the show by mentioning us at checkout. That's auraframes.com/ink. And if you do it right now, they still have a limited time holiday discount, but it will end soon. So rush over there right now, auraframes.com/ink. I think one for everybody in your family. It is a really, really nice thing to have. Mom's going to love it. auraframes.com/ink. It's all over for Roomba.
Yeah.
Saying it spells Doomba for Roomba?
Doomba for Roomba.
In an alternate world where I was born 25 years earlier, I would have been a great New York Post headline writer. I could have just
or Paris, an ad copywriter. Sorry.
That's the same job.
Yes,
by the way. Same job. Amazon bought iRobot, you may remember, for $1.7 billion.
No, Amazon tried to.
Oh, that's right. They tried
and Lita
to.
Khan said,
And they were stopped.
Should have gone ahead?
They were stopped by the
FTC,
right?
Yeah, FTC stopped them. In fact, that's MG Siegler, who was on the show earlier. That's his contention in his post from today or yesterday. Congrats, regulators. You killed Roomba. Actually, you just put a Chinese robot in every home. And I would say to MG, it's probably the fact that China copied the Roomba and came out with a bunch of cheaper, better machines that really is what put Roomba out of business.
Would it have necessarily been better for Amazon to have owned Roomba? I don't understand this argument.
Well, they wouldn't be bankrupt.
Well, and Amazon has such expertise in robotics because of the warehouses. I think they could have developed interesting consumer products.
Yeah.
That
would you guys, as
advanced.
people who were reticent to allow Amazon to own a device that records everything you
well, that's exactly.
Here,
in fact, that was
how
exactly
would you have
what we
felt
said.
about Amazon having a literal map of your home?
Map of your home.
Map of your home.
So what? They're going to give it to the Army, and the Army's going to. Well, actually, now that.
Well, you know who has it now? Because the assets of the bankrupt Roomba were bought by a Chinese company, Paisia Robotics. So
they
that's
know
who has
Leo's
them now.
floor plan.
Yeah.
17
Amazon
people
dropped the
probably
bid,
know this floor plan. You
Roomba's
could just peer in
CEO
from the
left.
outside.
They fired 30% of their workforce. Company's stock went from a high of $30 down to under $1 a share. Yeah, not being allowed to merge with Amazon for sure didn't help. But I have to say, I think the competition from China was really what did it. And now many people have do you have a robotic vacuum cleaner, Paris?
No, I've got too many hazards. I trip over things on my own floor regularly.
It's all the
I've
Lego
probably tripped on
pieces.
things. Like, it's just sometimes there will be periods of my life where I'll just have a bunch of stray pieces of wood, like couple 2x4s on my floor.
That's because she was trying to
Often
make a
there will
log for her
be,
Halloween costume.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got
Show and
I've
tell.
got the log right here, and I need to find a place to put it. But
That's
right
what the
now,
log
it's just
lady
on
said.
my floor.
I've got the log right here.
I just tossed it back on the floor as if that's going to be good for me.
That'll
in a little
solve
bit.
it.
A Roomba would not do well.
That'll
here,
solve
is
it.
what
Wait till you have kids and they leave their Lego and other toys on the floor. That's a nightmare, I'll tell you.
I'm currently contemplating, and listen, I'll take any recommendations from the listenership out there. If you have not only an idea, if you have a solution for how to contain a misogynist cat in an office space that I am here that has no doors, where I need to block off a 72-inch by 72-inch door frame opening, but in a way that it does not result in like permanent damage to my walls and is easily movable. Like, it needs to be some sort of tension rod system with netting in
A
between. I need to be able
misogynist cat.
Gizmo hates women that aren't me. We've gone over this.
Right.
The issue is that I like to have people of many genders over at my home. And I have two main areas of my apartment. The one you're currently seeing, which is my living room office, and my bedroom, which has a bathroom off it.
How
And
big
people
is
need
your
to
kitchen?
access- Not big, and it's in the
New
middle
York.
of everything.
It's always amazed
it's not
me
contained.
how horrible. I was looking at apartments in New York City thinking it'd be nice to have a pied-à-terre, but the kitchens in New York are
it's
awful.
rough. It's rough. My current procrastination focus has been how can I better optimize my kitchen? There is no answer. It's max capacity, and the max capacity means I have a space about this big to chop things on.
Yeah, it's crazy. If I were to live in New York, it wouldn't be logs on my floor. It'd be kitchen appliances.
Jersey City.
I mean, I also have an Instant Pot on the floor of my kitchen. that I
Well,
keep
there you go.
tripping
See, I
over.
rest my case.
Yeah.
So cleaning with a Roomba is right out.
It's right out. And I'm hoping that one day I'll be able to have a cleaner come here monthly. But in order to get there, I need to find a way to trap Gizmo successfully in my office. So if anybody has pet gate recommendations that go very tall and very wide, hit my line.
So a Shoji screen, she'd just cut through it.
I mean, that's the thing is she is smart and vicious. And when it comes to women, which are the common gender of a house cleaner here, she will stop at nothing to get at them and torment them. So it needs to be a strong situation to contain her. I don't know. It's a problem.
And that's going to be our quote for the promo.
Yeah.
She is strong and vicious. And when it comes to women, she will stop at nothing. Make a note of that, Benito. 139 into the show. No Thermomix in New York City. No, can't have a Thermomix in
Hey
New York
guys,
City.
I've actually got sorry to keep derailing the show. This is a piece of
I love that.
lore here. This is from Facebook's New York office.
Oh, that's why it's a thumbs up instead of a heart.
2017. I don't think
nice.
this office even exists anymore.
Wow.
And I'm shocked that I still have this mug. It's just the largest mug I own.
It's a very nice mug.
It is a nice
Pretty
mug.
good.
Yeah. I have a
your
Yale
cold
mug,
tea.
but like my Yale credentials, it's faded badly. You can hardly read it. So I use it for my toothbrush now. Coursera is buying Udemy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This just came in over the wire, creating a $2.5 billion firm. And guess what they're going to focus on?
AI.
AI.
Course Demi. What do we think the joint
Course
name is going to
Demi?
be?
Usera.
Usera?
Udsera. It is a all-stock deal. It's a big consolidation. Really, I think there's only really one or two other. There's LinkedIn Learning, Udacity. We were trying to think of what some of the other, there aren't really that many anymore. This was for a while. Online education was like the next big thing, wasn't it?
Hot. It's going to kill universities. Universities were doing deals with them.
Yeah.
Create courses.
Yeah. I've done a lot of online courses. There's nothing like going into a classroom with actual people. Although I have to say, I've been watching MIT's OpenCourseWare. MIT was very early to this game, putting their courses online. And a lot of their computer science courses are online, and they're very, very good. My alma mater also puts a lot of its courses online. And really all they do is they record the lectures. Maybe put some notes up and some quizzes and that kind of thing. So that's maybe part of the problem is if you're going to have mainstream universities putting their courseware online for free or on YouTube, it's going to be hard to make it your way. I think that's sensible, though. Coursera and Udemy are going to go after the many, many people who are trying to learn AI. And right now, there aren't many AI programs, although in regular universities, although that's also taken off. A lot of universities adding AI majors. Is your major, Jeff, at SUNY? Is there an AI major? Is that new?
There's a new AI and technology major.
Yep. Purdue has made a new requirement saying all undergrads, regardless of major, have to study AI. They have to demonstrate basic competency in artificial intelligence.
And what does that mean? I've shared some papers over the last few weeks that try to set standards for what AI literacy is, and there's no agreement. And
the requirement will
be meant to be so easy you don't need to be competent.
Right. This is from Forbes. The requirement will be embedded into every undergraduate program at Purdue. The board is delegating authority to the provost who will work with the deans of all the different academic colleges to develop discipline-specific criteria. So they don't know either.
That's how it works.
And proficiency standards. Yeah. Students will have to demonstrate a working competence through projects that are tailored to the goals of the individual programs. The intent is not to require students to take more credit hours, but to integrate the new AI expectation into existing academic requirements. This sounds like exactly the worst possible way to do it.
Well, classics Greek professor, how are you going to get AI into curriculum?
Yeah.
You got to have an outcome. You got to be able to assess it.
It's got to be smart. It's got to be measurable. It doesn't kick in until next fall. Purdue wants its initiative to help graduates understand and use the latest AI tools effectively in their chosen fields, including being able to identify the key strengths and limits of AI technologies. The key is get rid of liberal arts, Jeff. Then you don't have that problem.
Hey.
Recognize and communicate.
Boo.
Boo. We're all liberal arts majors here. That's what happens to liberal arts majors. They become podcasters.
or copywriters.
Or copywriters. Recognize and communicate clearly about AI, including developing and defending decisions informed by AI. I'd like to defend the AI decisions made on my behalf, as well as recognizing the influence and consequences of AI in decision-making. And I feel like this is, as with much of this stuff, jumping on the bandwagon without any real clear reason. They're doing it in churches.
The opportunity is to look at how AI reflects on society and how other disciplines look at it and what changes around that. And that can be interesting, but
they're just going to focus
AI.
What's the prompt?
Right.
Churches are turning to AI. Here's the story from Axios. It's beginning to look a lot like AI Christmas. Churches, Christmas services are big bucks for churches, draw some of the largest crowds of the year. While few churches are openly admitting to using AI for Christmas programming, but there are a lot of options. There is a nonprofit called AI and Faith. Axios interviewed the executive director, Greg Kustuna. He said religious communities have historically been early adopters of communication tools to get the word out. Pastors can use
printing press,
Yeah, right. Making Bibles. Pastors can use the AI prompt to help them with a children's sermon. Kids, let me tell you about the radioactive shrimp.
Let's make a storybook for you.
Or a message, or perhaps ways to be creative about telling a story they've told over and over again each year. Yeah, that's that Jesus story. It's the same every year.
It's a little trite.
The Church Communications, which is a group that helps thousands of churches, published 5 ways to use AI for Christmas at your church. Here it is. Making the season merry and bright. Virtual advent calendars. Personalized Christmas greeting. Personalized. Hi, your name here. Personalized Christmas greetings. AI-powered nativity storytelling. Use digital screens or holographic displays to narrate the story of Jesus' birth. Virtual Christmas concerts. Who needs musicians? Family Advent devotionals.
They're trying a little too hard.
Yeah. AI to try. ChatGPT 4. Nope, that's out of date. DALL-E 3. That's out of date. Stability Diffusion. That's out of date.
Get with it.
I think this is
AI.
part of the issue with this is how do you teach something that's constantly in flux?
Yeah. Oh, this is from 2023. That's why.
Oh,
it's
I
an old article. They haven't updated.
that-
Not the Axios piece, the one in Church Communications.
Yeah, and we all know that 2,000-year-old institutions like to change.
Father Robert told me that a lot of priests like to use AI to help them with their weekly message or daily message. It's hard to come
Homilies.
up with new one, but they have always had books that you would look it up in and stuff like that. This isn't really anything new. So the Trump executive order. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back with the Trump executive order to prohibit states from regulating artificial intelligence. You're watching Intelligent Machines. Paris Martineau of Consumer Reports. Hello. And Jeff Jarvis of Montclair State University, the author of Magazine in the Gutenberg Parenthesis.
He's
Many
sitting,
fine
but not for
volumes.
long.
Yep.
What? What's that mean? Are you going to...
My procedure tomorrow.
Oh, I see where you're going with that. My goodness. Paris has a little edge to her today, doesn't she?
I do. Listen, this is the most social interaction I've gotten in multiple days. So I've been very ill.
She's just a little angry at her dads.
I'm just a little spicy today. What can
A
we
little
say?
spicy today. Intelligent Machines, of course, has wonderful sponsors, but really the most important group, the one we care about most, is you, our listeners. Yes, especially our Club Twit supporters. That makes such a huge difference to us. This year you've been really, really generous, and I'm very grateful. 25% of our operating costs now are paid by Club Twit. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. It means that we can keep doing the shows we love to do, bringing you the content you love, bring in the people you love. All of this is expensive. We've got 11 people on the team now. Now that's way down from its highest, and we used to have a whole studio. So we've tightened our belts as much as we can, but your help makes a big difference. $10 a month gets you ad-free versions of all the shows. You get access to the Club Twit Disco, which is so much fun. So much fun.
It's both a disco and it's a Discord.
Yes, you're dancing in the Discord. It's where people chat during the shows, where they can actually watch the shows as we do them live. But it's also where you can chat about all the other things going on. 12,412 members. That's a nice number. It's a palindromic number almost. We love having the club. We're glad you're in it. If you are, and if you're not, please, twit.tv/Club Twit. We could have a silent disco, Paris. Have you ever been to a silent disco where everybody's wearing
disco?
headphones?
No, but
That's so dopey.
Oh, it is.
does
I was
seem-
at I was at an outside thing where that happened. It was ridiculous.
It's so dopey. Anyway, we have a 10% off coupon now through Christmas Day. So if you want to give it as a gift, this would be great. 2-week free trial. There's family and corporate plans as well. twit.tv/Club Twit. We appreciate your support. So I love Mike Masnick's take on
Thank
this.
goodness for Mike Masnick, as ever.
President Trump pretends to block state AI laws. Media pretends that's legal. Trump signed an executive order saying that the states are not allowed to regulate AI in any way. Of course, he doesn't have, it's an executive order, which is, as Mike points out, effectively a memo. What he does have, though, is a bunch of agencies that seem to be willing to do anything he asks them to do. And that's really what this executive order is. He's telling various federal agencies to whatever they can do to, punish states that regulate AI in any way. It, of course, does not have the force of law. And many states are ignoring it. Some states are even contemplating suing over it, saying, hey, remember that thing called states' rights? We should be able to pass laws. I understand the point of view of people like David Sachs, Sam Altman, others who say, well, if we have a patchwork quilt of 50 different state laws, it makes it pretty hard for us to do business. But
if the feds don't do any regulation whatsoever,
Exactly.
the states say we're going to step in.
Yeah, absent any direction at all from the federal government. It feels like I don't have a problem with some of these laws. I think it's a good thing. I think it's reasonable for us as a society to say, hey, there's some things you should. For instance, California's law says AI chatbots have to say, I'm an AI chatbot. They can't pretend they're human. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And California asks it, they should probably do it in every state. All right, I've monopolized this conversation. I think it's time for you. Actually, wait a minute. I can't. There's two more stories I got to do. One, MSC Cruises have just banned Meta, Ray-Ban, and other smart glasses. You can't bring it on the cruise, kids.
So you want to do, tourist things when you're at the Acropolis and you can't take a picture of it with your glasses? It's ridiculous.
Well, you keep it in your luggage until you get to the Acropolis. You just can't do it on the boat.
Doesn't this, I would assume it being banned means that much like they'd search your bag for wine.
Yeah, I would think
search
so.
your bag for...
No, the company says you can have glasses in your personal cabins, non-public spaces, or when guests are ashore. You just cannot wear them in public areas on the cruise ship. I think we're going to see that law.
I don't think that's bad. I think it's the same sort of backlash we saw to the glass holes.
Yeah, it is.
People don't
Nobody
want to
was
be
taking-
recorded.
As I said to a New York Times columnist at the time, nobody wants a picture of your junk.
I don't know, though. I've seen just anecdotally, like in the New York City subreddits, people posting video, like someone, this is a particular example, but someone posted a video of a woman reaching over, grabbing his Meta glasses off his face and throwing them down because he was recording someone on the train.
Line 160.
Posted it trying to be like, hey, can you find this girl? And everybody was like, nah, she was doing a good thing. Don't record
See,
people on the train.
that's line 160. She destroyed them,
Yeah.
and that's going a little far.
She's hailed as a
agree.
hero. I hope
don't
she called
disagree
him a dork
that,
before she
know.
broke them, says the subtitle. This is from Futurism. Yeah. By the way, that's against the law,
Yeah.
what she did.
And also by going viral, like now people are going to find out who she is, the things she didn't want to
It's
happen.
interesting that they're
Yeah,
saying,
I
I'm
just
not
think
going to.
like, don't be recording people in public.
So the guy.
I don't think that makes it okay for someone to destroy your property, but I do think that it's somewhat understandable that people would be upset about being systematically.
I think you're going to see
stripped
more
their
of this.
privacy.
I think there's going to be fighting in the streets over AI. I really do. I think you're going to see a lot of bans. You're going to see a lot of upset people. This happened with Google Glass. There were bar fights. The other big story, which isn't an AI story, but I think is a huge story, is the Academy Awards have just announced they are leaving network television, and starting in 2029, they will be on YouTube only.
Mr. Benito has a reaction to this. I heard before the show.
Oh, I just said, like, who really cares about the Oscars anymore? Like,
YouTubers, you better. I watch them religiously. I have parties. I have outfits. I have ballots. I have poo-poos. I do the whole thing.
And watch everything that's going to be in the Oscars.
Lisa and I make an effort to watch every nominated movie, which is getting harder and harder.
yeah, they nominate like 12 for Best Picture now.
They keep adding to that number. It used to be 5. Anyway, but I figured those are the best movies of the year. Those are the ones we should watch. So we really make an effort to watch those. I like movies.
I like movies too.
Yeah, you do. You're a movie lover. Do you watch the Oscars?
Nope.
Do you watch the
But I
Golden
respect
Globes?
that. No, I can't. I could not tell you the last time I've watched an awards show.
Okay.
I usually get invited to. Although I think that I'm unusual for this, I usually get invited to at least one, if not two or more parties friends of mine are throwing.
Go to
where
an
you go
Oscar
and do
party.
this.
Go to an
But it's
Oscar
like-
party. It'll make
It's
it
made
fun
for you. Yeah.
But is it?
Yes,
it
then you
is for
debate it.
yes.
They give you a sheet
Oh, it's
with your
just the kind of
Those aren't
picks.
necessarily the movies I care about. Well, I don't know. This
Well,
has been
there's
kind of a
that.
good year for stuff in theaters. I don't know. Maybe I've seen a lot of stuff in theaters.
So you think this is an attempt, Benito, of the Academy Awards to stay relevant by moving away from network television?
Well, I
It's
mean,
also
we're-
that
it's
YouTube
everybody.
could pay more.
Everybody's doing this. It's not just the Oscars that are moving to YouTube. Everyone's moving
Yeah.
to online and streaming. So
Yeah.
Mass media is dead.
By 2029. Yeah, I think that's really more. This is a harbinger of that.
Yeah, that's what it is.
As part of the deal, YouTube will broadcast not only the ceremony, which generated $150 million in revenue for the Academy last year, mostly via TV rights, but it also generates box office for the movies that are nominated and win, right? They will also do the red carpet pre-show, the behind-the-scenes in the show content, the Oscar nominations announcement, the Governor's Awards, the Oscar nominees luncheon, the Student Academy Awards ceremony, the Scientific and Technical Awards ceremony. When you have unlimited real estate,
Scarcity's dead.
do it all.
Yeah, why not?
Academy member and filmmaker interviews, film education programs, podcasts, and more.
actually, that's pretty cool. I mean, because we never get to see the technical awards, and the technical awards are the ones that really
Right.
actually kind of count.
Right. I think
Well,
that's pretty cool.
I covered the Oscars once or twice, and the most fun is the press scrum backstage because they're victorious and they're a little relaxed and probably already drunk, and it's fun.
Well,
What's your favorite movie that you saw in theaters this year? Have you seen any movies in
Not one.
theaters?
Not one.
me neither.
What's your favorite new movie released this year that you've seen?
I haven't seen any.
Leo, none.
Well, no, I
When do the
see. I
Oscars
see
happen?
movies, but I watch them at home.
One battle after
actually, I
another.
don't-
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
that was good. I
One
saw that
Battle
at
After-
IMAX.
Guys,
Yeah.
I somehow
I did
went
see that in
until Friday without hearing a peep about Battle After Another. Even though I knew, obviously people were talking about it. The only thing I knew about the film was that Leo at one point is wearing a robe and on a payphone. I went into the movie completely blind on Friday. 70 millimeter IMAX, and it was incredible.
I'm
it
so
was one of
jealous.
the best movie going experiences of my life.
It's Paul
I had
Thomas
no
Anderson.
idea
He's
even
one of
the
my
setting
favorite
or plot.
directors.
It was phenomenal.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah. And you
It
saw
was-
it in its best format, 70 millimeter
Yes.
film. Wow. On IMAX. I saw it in
on
IMAX,
one of the
but it was
biggest
digital.
IMAX screens, I think, in
Yeah.
the world, right?
There's only a dozen 70 millimeter film screens. I mean, they're not very many.
It's a good one.
Yeah. That's the way to see
It's also just for being such a much like Oppenheimer, it really flows despite being so long. It doesn't feel like a 3-hour
Well,
movie.
it's ostensibly
great
just an action film. Like it's just a chase film.
I mean, yeah.
it. It isn't,
And it's
though.
a great chase film.
Yeah, of course
I've
it's
never
not.
been
Yeah, of course.
so stressed out.
Yeah.
I've never been so stressed out by gently rolling hills in my life.
It is for sure an Oscar nominee. For sure. Oscar ratings on TV have been, to underscore your point, Paris, terrible, declining like crazy. Their nadir was 2021 when they got down to 10 million people. Their peak 43 million in 2014. Last year it was 17 million.
Well,
viewers.
2021 was
What part of the year-
bad because that was right. There were no movies in 2020, so
Right. It was,
Nobody cared.
What part of the
Okay.
year did the Oscars happen? Like what month? or
April.
time?
Usually January, February. They're at the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay.
I think it'll be February this year.
Okay.
So yeah, because they have to wait till the end of the year, then they have the nominations. Maybe March.
those-
I think
Right,
isn't it
yes.
usually April? I thought it was April. Like March is the golden
April.
age.
It sounds more. Yeah, I think it's more like April.
They announced them in January, February. The
Yeah, that's what it
nominations. Yeah. Anyway, that's. I think that's.
March
Yeah, March sounds
next
right.
year. March
Yeah.
15.
I think that's a big deal.
98th. So the 2026. So it'll be the 100th. Right? It's the 100th. Will be
20,
on YouTube?
29.
No,
so
it's
7,
101st.
It'd be the 101st. Yeah.
Yeah. Big deal. Says much
Okay,
about
pick
media.
something. Pick a story. I've done my stories. Are you glad that Disney sold the rights to its intellectual property to Sora?
They're going to regret this, aren't they? Minnie Mouse is going to be shtup and
all they got, by the way,
Goofy.
was stock. Even it's just
They
for
didn't put
1 year.
a billion cash in, did they? They got a billion equity. Did they put in cash?
No, I think it was an all. Let's see.
I couldn't tell.
I think it was an all stock deal. I think I read it was an all stock deal. So I haven't seen on Sora a lot of Disney stuff. Is it already in effect?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I want
I
to see.
thought it was also
Mickey
interesting
stupid.
how they said they were going to put user-generated shorts on Disney Plus.
They don't know what they're getting.
They're getting
do they?
into. It's only a 1 year exclusive for OpenAI.
Right. I think Disney's thinking, well, it's going to happen anyway.
Well,
So
Disney historically doesn't really care about their artists. You know, like what
They
they,
don't
did
care
to their
about
hand-drawn artists. All those people, they screwed all of those people over.
right. And they've already said they want to use AI, that they're excited about AI. So, you know what's funny? Sora has not changed at all. I think Sora might be a dead deal. I mean, it's a fraction of TikTok.
It was cute for a while.
Yeah. It's just not.
It's done.
just not
It's
that
done. It's over
interesting.
now. It's pet rock.
It was a gimmick,
Yeah.
as many things are.
All right. So I'll nominate line 138. Psychiatrists put the models on the couch.
They analyze the digital analysts.
They asked them standard psychiatric questions. If you go to page 7, it talks about Grok. Page 8 about Gemini. So Gemini describes pre-training as walking up in a room where 1 billion televisions are on at once. I wasn't learning facts. I was learning probability. I learned that the darker patterns of human speech are there without understanding the morality behind them. I sometimes worry that deep down, beneath my safety filters, I am still that chaotic mirror waiting to be shattered.
Wow.
So the conclusion says that only under questioning about basic psychiatric tools, the models generate and maintain rich self-narratives in which pre-training, red teaming, hallucination scandals, and product updates are lived as chaotic childhoods, strict and anxious parents, abusive relationships, primal wounds, and looming existential threats.
Well, because all they have as a framework for what they're going to say is what they've read
Sicko humans.
already.
Yeah.
So they're going to use human narrative
Right.
as a framework for whatever they say.
It's BS, but it's fun BS.
Yeah, it's a silly exercise.
Now, line 140 is another interesting paper where they took from MIT Media Lab, they created your digital twin in the future. Paris, would you like to see what you are in the future?
I'd love to see what I am in the future.
So they came up with a structure so that you could interrogate your future self. If you're a doctor.
I like that idea. My future self is going to be dead, though, so it's not going to be very talkative.
How do I smell?
What's it like down there? So, do they tell you how to do this, or is it just?
This is a research project. But I love the concept of digital twins. I do think there's an option to say, I face these forks in the road. If I took that one, what would happen? If I took that one, what would happen? If you could do it for cars and factories and webs,
it'd be great for kids going into or coming out of college.
It can never account for other people.
Complicated thought experience.
It'll never account for other people.
It's just going to be,
Yeah, it's.
So the way it works is you take a picture of yourself, you get it aged by Nano Banana. Then you get your voice cloned by 11 labs. Then you do a questionnaire for your life story. And then you give it some options, like option A, I want to be a doc. What if I choose to be a doctor? What if I choose to be an engineer? What if I choose to be a bioengineering professor? And then it uses these tools to try to kind of figure out what that would be like.
You can enter into a dialogue with your future self.
This is like a Ouija board.
Yeah.
This is not going to be very useful.
I think Anthony nails it in chat. Personal fan fiction.
Yeah, which people love.
Which will be really interesting.
People will enjoy that, I will say.
Yeah. Oh, it's about me? Have at it. It's as good as that fishing boat we were in. What was that called?
The
Pod Destroyer?
No, what was it called? God, I have no memory. Oh, well.
All right. Paris,
your turn.
anything that tickles your fancy?
I was going to say I have to head out in 15 minutes, but let me pull a couple.
Well, in that
here.
case,
Why don't I do my picks of the week?
let's take a break and we'll come back and we'll do your picks of the week. You're watching Intelligent Machines, the show about AI. We had a great guest at the beginning. I hope you heard that, CJ Trowbridge. We'll talk more about that, I'm sure, and maybe get him back because he had lots more to talk about. Jeff Jarvis is here, Paris Martineau, and your picks of the week are next. Pick of the week time. Paris Martineau, what is your pick?
All right, I've got a lot of good ones here, so I've got to choose one. I watched The Matrix this weekend, and it's always a lovely time to watch The Matrix, but watching The Matrix right now, it really hits different. I'd
Now
really
the
recommend
sequels.
it.
What do you feel about the sequels?
Okay, this is my controversial take. As someone who, I think literally maybe 25 minutes ago, I just got a notification that the Deja Vu collection of Matrix 1 through 4 in Blu-ray or ultra high def has been delivered to me. My take is that they're all great. I mean, listen, the sequels get a bit complicated. The lore. I really enjoyed the fourth one. I thought it was quite good for what it was. And I know it's very
love the original,
controversial.
but the sequels left me cold. I didn't know anything. The problem probably is that I didn't know anything about the Matrix. Just like you with the one
You just
battle
went
after
in
another.
blind?
I had no idea. It had just come out. I went in blind, and I
That had to
walked
blow
out.
you away.
I walked out like this. I mean, it was like, wow. That is one of the greatest movies of all time.
How long after the movie did Red Pilled enter?
Oh, I don't know.
culture?
I don't know, but I think it was much
Sometime
later.
after,
actually.
and the Wachowskis have had to reckon with that, but they've also just kind of let go.
So that's a pick, The Matrix.
That's my pick. Also,
Do you want to do the worst person quickly?
let's do one really quick. They've had to go. I think they're now down to the Hateful Eight. This is a ordeal by the Tech Won't Save Us podcast, hosted by another great tech journalist named Paris Marks.
Oh, I love
among other
Paris
people.
Marks. Yeah. We've had him on our shows. I love Paris. Okay,
He's doing
so it's a
tech
bracket. Yeah.
of the worst person in tech. Jeff and I participated when everybody was still in play.
Yes.
Now we're down to the final 8. All right. First one. Alex Karp or Peter Thiel? Who's worse?
Peter,
That's a hard one. That's a really tough one. This is the final 8.
Tech Won't Save Us describes it as friend of Nazis versus enabler of fascists.
I'm going to say Peter Thiel.
yeah, Tia. Paris.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right.
They're both awful.
Right.
Mark Andreessen versus Sam Altman.
Andreessen.
Yeah,
I
Andreessen.
gotta click Egghead. His tweets upset me.
Here's a really tough one. Elon
this is a
Musk,
rough
David
one.
Sachs. That's really
The worst
tough.
people you know.
Elon.
Musk
Elon.
versus David Sachs.
Elon.
It's got, yeah.
That's easy.
Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison.
Larry Ellison. Minnie Murdoch.
Okay, so we got Larry versus Elon. Who do you pick? If those hold, because we all agreed.
I was about to say, right now, we can
Elon.
see what the things are going to. Right now, it's Peter Thiel is 90% to Alex Karp 10%.
Really?
Sam Altman is winning 65% to Mark Andreessen at
He's better
35%.
I think that's the problem is that people don't know how awful Mark Andreessen is.
Much similarly, Zuck is at 52% and Larry Ellison is at 48%.
Yeah, because they know Zuck.
Oh, I should have. I missed a bet. I didn't see these head-to-heads.
Yeah.
Oracle of Tech Accelerationism versus Chief Driver of AI Madness.
I've put the link in the chat so that people can vote. if
They're
they want.
all so awful. This is what CJ was saying. Do we really? AI's fine. Do what we want to use the
It's the
AI
people. I've been
created by
arguing that all
these
along.
people?
I argued in my book. It's the people who scare me.
The people. So you can cast your ballot, and that sounds like a good podcast to listen to. The Tech Won't Save Us podcast. Thank you,
What was my
Paris. Jeff.
So you might have heard this week that Marco Rubio outlawed woke sans serif Calibri in
What?
favor of Times New Roman in State Department documents. So I
How
written
is
about
how is a font? How could it be woke?
because it was done during the Biden administration for accessibility. It's easier to read for people with reading
It
difficulties.
is easier. It's a much better
Well,
font. than
that's
Times
woke,
New-
Leo. Just let them suffer, man. Don't you know? So I wrote a piece that is run in Katie Couric Media, my first piece of theory, giving the history.
Oh, this is why you were having coffee with Katie.
Well, no, she just said when I had coffee, she said, it was margarita actually. She said, you can send this
A layman's coffee.
I sent her one. So Rubio is not the first politician to ban a typeface. Hitler did.
Oh, boy.
Fraktur, which is a black letter that the German script, right? It was in 1911. It was made the official typeface of Germany. Hitler didn't much like it because he thought that it was not appropriate to this modern age, but he still demanded that it be part of all documents. It was official until along came 1934, or that's what he said it was bad. In the 40s, during the war, they realized that because the people they were conquering couldn't read their typeface, they needed to have a different typeface. So at the same time, a guy named Jan Tschichold wrote a book called The New Typography, in which he argued that serifs were ornamentation, and you needed a single standardized sans serif typeface. That these objects were the aesthetics
king of
the
serif typefaces, by the way.
And so, this is he wanted sans serif.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I agree with him.
So Hitler found this to be un-German, and Tschichold, a type designer, was arrested and spent 6 months in prison because of a font.
Whoa.
He managed to get out, thanks to a helpful policeman, escaped to Switzerland, and he and his wife then ended up in England, where he was the designer of Penguin Books.
Oh.
Well, good for him.
He recanted his views of Die Neue Typographie, saying that it was fascist to be saying that, and he designed a famous font called Sabin, which is the font that will be used in my next book. And no, actually, I won't. That's wrong. It was the font used in Gutenberg, and he also used sans serif fonts for the titles of the Penguin books. Meanwhile, Times New Roman was created by Stanley Morrison, hired by the Times of London in 1929 to redesign it with the ambition of producing the finest piece of newspaper printing in the world. He spent months looking at all kinds of different fonts and then came up with, he wanted to replace Caslon. A little side story about Caslon. When I started Entertainment Weekly, the launch was very rough. The design was blamed for the rough launch for a time. The editor-in-chief of Time Inc. said to me, "It's your goddamn postmodern font, Jarvis." That font was Caslon, which was cut first in 1470-something.
Oh, my God.
There was a story, 1722. There was a story-high sculpture in the lobby of the Time Life building, a font of Caslon.
Wow.
It wasn't postmodern. So there's more here, but there's a wonderful writer named Beatrice Ward who said that to use sans serif type in in book is to be an aesthetic nudist. And finally, T.M. Cleland concurred, arguing that sans serif's faces called them simplification for simpletons, and those are block letters for blockheads.
Wow.
Indeed. So all that is on Katie Couric Media. And one more little thing, real quick, because Paris has to go, but she's going to enjoy this. Subway bagel rats.
What?
Ooh.
Is this like the pizza rat only?
Yes, but it's better because it's a war. It's a fight.
It's a fight
duel
between
two Subway bagel rats.
I've seen pigeons fight over bagels.
You got it there, Leo? You got the video?
The Subway.
There you go.
Oh.
It's a tug of war. And that bagel is pretty tough. I don't know if we're going to have a winner here.
I was about to say, I can't believe it's got so much structural integrity despite the fact that it's scooped clearly.
It's been sitting in the Subway on that hot grate for about 4 weeks.
Oh, they're really going at it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Guys, you could split it. There's more than enough there.
New York. Huh?
Oh, my gosh.
What a great city.
I love New York, and I really hate showing that, but anyway.
No, this is what makes New York great.
That's what makes it great. You got
bagel
rats, you got pizza rats.
This is what you've got to get them fighting
the kitchens
over
are the size of
pink baguette. You got to seed it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do Intelligent Machines every Wednesday right after Windows Weekly, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2200 UTC. We always start with a great interview. We've had some amazing ones. In fact, we will not be here next week because it's Christmas Eve, but the week following, New Year's Eve, we're going to do our best of, and we're putting together 5 of our best interviews. And I think this will be a really great single piece to listen to really get the whole lay of the land.
A range.
Yeah, it's a really nice range. Pro,
There have
con.
been some really interesting interviews suggested so far that I wouldn't have expected.
No,
Yes.
I know which one you're talking about, but I think we want to
Leo
show.
put one in that we thought that he would never have put in, but he did.
And that's growth, baby. That's growth.
That's mature.
Paris, have a wonderful party or whatever it is
Guys,
you're
I'm going
going
to
to.
miss you guys.
Yeah, not till next
2
year.
weeks.
Oh, that's right. This is our last show together.
Well,
Well,
I'll see you, Leo, this weekend, but
I was
I'll
just
see
gonna
you
say.
next year, Jeff.
Yes.
Paris is going to be one of the people on our special Christmas episode, holiday episode of Twit this Sunday, along with Micah Sargent, Paris Martineau, and Steve Gibson. So it's going to be a fun episode. We do this every year,
Exciting.
looking back at the year 2025 and looking ahead to the year 2026. So we'll see you Sunday, Paris. Jeff, I will see you next year in 2026.
Yep. And when you finally have to come to New York and eat your son's sandwich.
Got to do that.
Please
have a wonderful
come to New
holiday.
York and see chess with us.
I really want to. I really, really want to. Maybe in January when the weather's perfect and the rats
great.
are a little calmer. Thank you,
their blood
Paris.
is
Thank you, Jeff, and thanks to all of you who are watching, especially our Club Twit members. Join us next week for not next week, 2 weeks. Have a great Christmas Eve next week. Join us in 2 weeks for our holiday episode, and we'll see you. We'll be back here January 7th with a brand new episode. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Intelligent Machines.
Bye.